Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cosmic Currents. Today we're talking about what I believe is the single most important, yet often misunderstood piece of your entire astrological puzzle, your rising sign. Have you ever felt that strange disconnect between the person you know you are on the inside, your core essence, your secret passions, your deep emotional world, and the person others seem to meet for the first time? Maybe you've been told you seem intimidating when you feel you're just shy. Or perhaps people think you're overly serious, when internally you're bubbling with creative, chaotic energy. This gap between your inner self and your outer presentation is where so many of us feel lost or misinterpreted, and it's a space that your rising sign beautifully and powerfully illuminates. Before we dive into the stars, if you're finding these insights helpful, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this energy reach more people who need it. And I'd love to connect with your journey. Drop a comment below and tell me a question you're asking the universe right now. Alright, find a comfortable spot and let's align our energy with the cosmos. That feeling of being misunderstood, that sense of, if they only knew the real me, is a universal human experience. We spend so much of our lives trying to bridge that gap, to present our authentic soul to the world. Astrology gives us a profound tool to understand this dynamic, and the key is the Ascendant, or as it's more commonly known, the rising sign. So, what is it exactly? In astronomical terms, your rising sign is the specific zodiac sign that was ascending, or rising up over the eastern horizon, at the precise moment and location of your birth. Imagine that first breath you took. As you inhaled life for the first time, you also inhaled the specific celestial energy that was painting the sky at that exact coordinate on Earth. This imprint becomes your energetic signature, the very lens through which you perceive the world, and just as importantly, the lens through which the world first perceives you. I like to think of your natal chart as the sacred blueprint of your soul's potential in this lifetime. If the chart is your house, then your sun sign might be the living room, the heart of the home where your vital life force shines. Your moon sign could be the private bedroom, the inner sanctum where your emotional self resides. But your rising sign? Your rising sign is the front door. It's the threshold. It's the entryway that every single person, every opportunity, every experience must pass through to get inside. It determines the style of the door, whether it's a grand, ornate entrance, a simple, practical one, or a hidden, mysterious gate. It's the very first impression of your entire being. This is why it's the secret key to the whole chart. If you don't understand the nature of your own front door, you can't understand how anything or anyone truly enters your life. You might be sending out signals you're not even aware of, creating a persona that feels foreign even to you. The fundamental insight here is that your rising sign is not a false mask to be ripped off in order to reveal your true self. This is a common misinterpretation that can cause a lot of internal conflict. Instead, I want you to reframe it. Your rising sign is the vehicle your soul chose for this specific journey. It's the interface, the operating system you were given to navigate the material world. It is the suit of armor, the set of tools, the instinctual approach that allows your inner sun and moon to eventually feel safe enough to come out and play. To fight against your rising sign is to fight against the very mechanism designed to help you engage with life. The goal isn't to discard it, but to consciously embody its highest, most authentic expression, turning the mask into a radiant, transparent expression of your soul. Let's imagine a real-world scenario. Think of someone you know, or perhaps this is even you, who has a brilliant, fiery Leo sun. Internally, their core identity is creative, warm, expressive, and they long to be seen and celebrated for their unique gifts. But let's say they have a Cancer rising. When they walk into a new social situation, their first instinct isn't the Leo roar, it's the Cancerian retreat into the shell. They might seem shy, reserved, incredibly sensitive, and they'll approach the room by sensing the emotional temperature, looking for a safe person or a quiet corner. For years, this person might feel immense frustration. Why can't I just be myself? They'll wonder. Why do I come across as timid when I feel so powerful inside? The revelation comes when they understand that their Cancer rising isn't a weakness. It's their soul's chosen strategy. It's a divinely intelligent system that says, first we must establish emotional safety. We must connect with care and gentleness. Once we know we are safe and nurtured, then, and only then, can the glorious Leo sun come out to shine its light. The rising sign is the path, the process, the how we go about living. It dictates the style of our journey. This is why it's called the doorway to your soul. Your ascendant is always the cusp of the first house in your chart, the house of self, identity, personality, and your physical body. It literally begins the entire story of your life as it unfolds through the 12 houses. Everything that happens to you, from your career, 10th house, to your relationships, 7th house, to your deep psychological patterns, 8th house, is processed and initiated through the filter of your rising sign. A person with an Aries rising will charge into relationships head first, while a Libra rising will approach them with diplomacy and a desire for balance. They might both have the same sun sign, but their experience of life will be profoundly different because their starting point, their energetic launch pad, is different. So, I want to leave you with a question for self-reflection. Take a moment and think about the last time you were in a completely new situation, one where you felt a little uncertain. It could have been the first day at a new job, a party where you knew no one, or even a first date. Before you had time to think, what was your very first, gut-level automatic instinct? Was your impulse to take charge and introduce yourself boldly? Was it to hang back and observe, analyzing the situation before you acted? Was it to immediately find a way to be useful or helpful to someone else? Or was it to feel out the emotional energy of the room, looking for a gentle connection? That initial, unfiltered, automatic response is the purest glimpse you can get of your rising sign in its raw, unfiltered power. It is the secret compass that guides your every first step. That initial automatic response you just identified, that gut-level instinct in a new situation, is the pure, undiluted energy of your rising sign. But what happens when that instinct feels completely at odds with the person you believe you are at your core? You might have an adventurous Sagittarius rising, always wanting to jump into the next new thing, but your internal identity, your sun sign, might be a cautious, home-loving Cancer. This is where so many people get tripped up. They feel this internal tug-of-war, believing that one part of them must be false and the other true. But the cosmos is never that simple, and it is never a battle. It is always an invitation into deeper harmony. To truly understand yourself, you have to move beyond just one sign and embrace what astrologers call the Big Three, or what I prefer to call your personal cosmic trinity: your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. These three placements are the primary pillars of your personality. They are not competing for dominance, they are a sacred team, each with a distinct and vital role in the expression of your soul. Let's break down their roles with a simple framework. The sun is your what, the moon is your why, and the rising sign is your how. First, your sun sign. This is the one everybody knows. When someone asks, "What's your sign?" they're asking about your sun sign. Your sun represents your core identity, your life force, your ego structure, and the heroic journey you are on in this lifetime. It is the fundamental essence of what you are here to become, what you are here to build, and what kind of energy you are meant to shine into the world. If your life were a movie, your sun sign is the protagonist. It's the conscious, driving force. A Leo sun is here to shine creatively. A Capricorn sun is here to build with integrity. A Pisces sun is here to express divine compassion. It is your ultimate destination and your primary source of vitality. Next, we have your moon sign. The moon governs your inner world. It is the realm of your emotions, your subconscious patterns, your memories, your intuition, and your most fundamental needs. It's the private you, the one that only a trusted few, and perhaps only you yourself, ever get to see. If the sun is the hero of your movie, the moon is the hero's inner monologue. It's their secret motivation, their vulnerability, the emotional landscape that drives their every decision. Your moon sign is the answer to the question, why? Why do you do what you do? A Gemini moon has a deep, driving need for mental stimulation and communication. An Aries moon has a fundamental need for independence and action. Your moon reveals why you seek certain experiences and avoid others. It is the quiet, powerful engine of your emotional needs. And this brings us back to your rising sign, which, as we've established, is your how. It is the strategy, the vehicle, the method, and the style you instinctively use to navigate the world. It's how you go about pursuing your sun's purpose, and it's how you automatically act to get your moon's needs met. It's the costume your hero wears, the mode of transport they choose, the way they speak to the other characters they meet on their journey. It is the bridge between your inner needs, moon, and your outer purpose, sun. The most powerful actionable insight you can take from this is that true self-awareness and personal growth come from consciously integrating these three energies. The secret is to understand that they work in a sequence. You must use the strategy of your rising sign, the how, to create a life and an environment that makes your moon, the why, feel safe and nurtured. Only when your deep subconscious needs are met can your sun, the what, feel free and empowered enough to shine its brilliant, authentic light without reservation. The pathway to actualization is how, why, what. Let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine a person with their sun in Aquarius, their moon in Taurus, and a Libra rising. This is a fascinating combination of energies. Their Aquarius sun gives them a core purpose, a what, centered on innovation, social change, and progressive ideas. They are here to shake things up and contribute something unique to the collective. But their Taurus moon gives them a very different why. Their deep subconscious need is for stability, security, comfort, and predictability. This creates a powerful inner tension. I want to be a revolutionary, Aquarius sun, but I'm terrified of losing my financial security, Taurus moon. For years, they might be paralyzed, feeling like their dreams are impossible because their needs are in direct opposition. The key to unlocking this stalemate is their Libra rising, their how. Libra is the sign of diplomacy, partnership, harmony, and relationship. Their instinctual approach to life is not to go it alone or to burn everything down, but to connect, to build bridges, to create balance. So instead of thinking they have to quit their stable job and risk everything, which would deeply frighten their Taurus moon, they can lean into their Libra rising strategy. They can use their natural charm and social grace to find a business partner. They can build a coalition of like-minded people. They can use their eye for beauty and harmony to create a stunning, persuasive presentation to attract investors. By using the how of their Libra rising, building relationships and seeking balance, they create the foundation of support and security that their Taurus moon wide desperately needs. With that emotional and material foundation in place, their Aquarius sun is finally free to launch its brilliant, world-changing project. The rising sign wasn't a mask. It was the sophisticated strategy that harmonized the entire system. So I invite you to reflect on this dynamic within yourself. Consider a major goal or a deep desire you hold in your heart right now. This is the voice of your sun. Now get quiet and ask yourself, what is the underlying emotional need or perhaps the deep-seated fear that is connected to this goal? What must you feel in order to pursue it? That is the voice of your moon. Finally, think about your most natural default way of starting something new or meeting the world. Is it with bold action? With careful analysis? With charm and diplomacy? With quiet sensitivity? This is your rising sign's toolkit. Now ask yourself the most important question. How can you consciously use that instinctual approach, your rising sign's how, to soothe your moon's why, so that you can finally and fully step into your sun's what? Understanding this cosmic trinity is the first major step to decoding your entire chart. You are not just one sign. You are this beautiful, complex, and collaborative dance of energies. And just as this trinity forms a team, that team has a captain. The planet that governs your rising sign takes on a special executive role, becoming the guide for this entire cosmic collaboration. And it's this guide we need to meet next. So we have this incredible team, your sun, moon, and ascendant, working in a beautiful, dynamic collaboration. But every effective team needs a leader, a director who clarifies the mission, sets the agenda, and steers the course through calm and stormy seas. In the sacred astrology of your life, that pivotal role belongs to your chart ruler. This is a concept that moves us from the what of your energy to the where and why of your life's path. If your rising sign is the doorway to your soul, the chart ruler is the one who holds the key and decides which rooms to explore and when. It is, quite literally, the captain of your ship. So what is your chart ruler? It's simply the planet that is the traditional ruler of your rising sign. Each of the 12 signs has a planetary guardian, an energetic overlord that embodies its purest essence. This relationship is ancient and foundational to astrology. If you are an Aries rising, your captain is the fiery, action-oriented planet Mars. If you are a Taurus or Libra rising, your guide is the graceful and magnetic Venus. For Gemini and Virgo risings, it's the quick-witted messenger, Mercury. A Cancer rising is uniquely ruled by the moon itself, weaving your life's path directly into your emotional tides. A Leo rising is ruled by the center of our solar system, the radiant sun, placing your identity at the heart of your journey. If you are a Sagittarius or Pisces rising, your expansive guide is Jupiter. And for Capricorn and Aquarius risings, the great teacher and builder, Saturn, is your captain. Scorpio rising is traditionally ruled by Mars, bringing an intense and strategic focus to your path. Once you know this planet, you hold one of the most powerful keys to your entire chart. Why? Because the condition of this planet, where it is and what it's doing in your chart, tells the story of your life's primary theme. To understand your chart ruler's story, we look at two main things, its house and its sign. The house where your chart ruler is located is the single most important area of your life. It is mission control. It is the stage upon which the drama of your life is destined to unfold. It is the realm where you are meant to take the energy of your rising sign and put it into practice. The sign your chart ruler is in then adds the flavor, the style, the specific costume your captain wears while steering the ship. The core actionable insight here is this: to feel a deep sense of purpose and direction, you must consciously and actively engage with the area of life represented by the house where your chart ruler resides. This is your soul's assignment. When you neglect this part of your life, you will likely feel adrift, aimless, or like you're constantly fighting against a current you can't see. Your chart ruler points a giant cosmic arrow to a specific department of your life and says, "Here, pay attention here. This is where your growth lies. This is where your identity will be forged." Pouring your energy into this house will bring the rest of your life into alignment. Let's make this tangible with an example. Imagine two people, both with a Sagittarius rising. Their instinctual approach to the world, their how, is optimistic, adventurous, expansive, and focused on seeking truth and meaning. Their chart ruler, the captain of their ship, is Jupiter, the planet of growth, wisdom, and abundance. Now let's place their captain in two different houses and watch how it creates two completely different life paths. Our first person has their Jupiter in the 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. For this individual, their entire life's journey will be inextricably linked with their profession and their role in the wider community. Their Sagittarian quest for truth will manifest as a drive to become a leader, a teacher, a mentor, or an authority in their field. Their purpose is found on a public stage. They feel most themselves, most alive, when they are expanding their reach through their work, perhaps by becoming a professor, a CEO of an international company, a published author, or a spiritual guru. Their mission is to take that expansive Jupiter energy and build a legacy with it. Their life will feel on track when their career is thriving. Now let's take our second person, who also has Sagittarius rising, but their Jupiter is located in the 4th house of home, family, ancestry, and emotional foundations. This is a profoundly different life story. Though they still have that same adventurous, truth-seeking filter, their captain is steering the ship towards the inner world of hearth and home. Their great life's work is not on a public stage, but in the private sanctuary of their family. Their mission is to create a home that is a center for learning, philosophy, and expansive love. They might find their truth by exploring their family's ancestral roots, perhaps even moving to the land of their ancestors. Their sense of adventure might manifest in raising their children with a broad-minded, multicultural perspective, or in creating a sprawling, welcoming home where travelers and seekers always have a place to stay. Their feeling of being on purpose comes from building a deep, meaningful, and emotionally secure foundation. For them, true abundance is a thriving family, not a thriving career. Same rising sign, same captain, but a different destination. This is the power of the chart ruler. It takes the general energy of your ascendant and gives it a specific job to do, a specific place to be. Your journey is about learning to work with your captain. If your chart ruler is in the 12th house of spirituality, solitude, and the subconscious, but you spend all your time chasing external validation and avoiding introspection, you're going to feel deeply unfulfilled. The captain is trying to steer you toward the inner sea of meditation and retreat, while you're trying to paddle toward the noisy shore. The moment you align with your captain's intended direction, everything starts to flow. So, let's do a little self-inquiry right now. First, identify your rising sign. Now identify its ruling planet. If you have access to your birth chart, find that planet. See which house it's located in. It'll be a number from 1 to 12. If you don't have your chart, you can look this up easily online. Once you know the house, I want you to reflect on this question. Looking back over the course of your life, how has the central story, the main plot, the recurring themes, the biggest challenges, and the greatest joys consistently revolved around the topics of that specific house? How has the captain of your ship been trying to get your attention, directing you toward this area of life all along, even when you weren't consciously aware of it? Understanding who is at the helm of your ship is the key to navigating your life with intention. Now that we know the captain, let's take a closer look at the ship itself, specifically how it first appears to others. Let's examine the energetic handshake it gives to every other vessel it meets on the vast sea of life. This is the subtle magic and the powerful mystery of your first impression, the social mask you present to the world. This energetic handshake we're talking about is so much more than a superficial hello. It's a complex, non-verbal, instinctual broadcast of energy. It's a signal that emanates from you the moment you enter a room, telling the world how to approach you, what to expect from you, and how you will likely meet any new experience. This broadcast is what people are responding to when they form that instantaneous first impression. And this is the domain of your rising sign, which often gets called your social mask. Now, I want to be very clear about that word, mask. It can imply something false, something inauthentic that you're hiding behind. But as we touched on before, this couldn't be further from the truth. A more accurate analogy might be to think of yourself, your core soul essence, as an astronaut. This astronaut, your sun and moon, is a being of pure light and consciousness, but it cannot survive in the dense, complex atmosphere of earthly society without a suit. Your rising sign is that custom-designed, perfectly fitted spacesuit. It's not fake. It's a functional, essential interface that allows your soul to breathe, move, and interact with the material world. It protects your sensitive inner core while allowing you to engage with your environment. It's your default setting for social navigation. When you're not consciously directing your energy, when you're on autopilot ordering a coffee, walking into a meeting, or meeting a friend of a friend, it's the rising sign that takes the controls. A fascinating and tangible way this suit expresses itself is through your physical body. The ascendant is the cusp of the first house, which rules your physical self, your body, your health, and your mannerisms. The energy of your rising sign is often literally imprinted upon your physical presence. This isn't about rigid, deterministic rules like all Leo risings have great hair, but rather about an energetic signature that shapes your demeanor. For instance, someone with an Aries rising ruled by Mars often has a very alert and energetic presence. They might lean forward when they speak, move with a quick, purposeful stride, and carry a sense of readiness in their body, as if they're always prepared to spring into action. Contrast that with a Taurus rising, ruled by Venus. Their presence is often much more grounded and solid. Their movements are more deliberate and paced. Their gaze is steady and they exude a calm, unshakable vibe. A Gemini rising, ruled by Mercury, might be physically animated. using their hands to talk, with eyes that dart around, constantly scanning their environment, hungry for information. And a Cancer rising, ruled by the moon, can present with softer features, a more gentle and protective posture, and an approachable face that makes others feel emotionally safe. Your body becomes the vessel for this energy, broadcasting its quality before you ever say a word. The primary insight here is that you can learn to consciously pilot this suit. You can work with the energy of your rising sign to intentionally shape your first impressions and navigate new situations more skillfully. When you understand the features of the suit you're wearing, its strengths, its weaknesses, its default settings, you can transform a reactive, unconscious pattern into a conscious and powerful tool. This is the difference between letting your energetic broadcast run on a chaotic autopilot and becoming a skillful ambassador for your own soul. Let's use a powerful, real-world example. Someone with a Scorpio rising. The default energetic handshake of a Scorpio ascendant is typically intense, magnetic, quiet, and deeply probing. Their instinct is to observe, to conceal their own thoughts while they perceive the truth of a situation. Their gaze can feel penetrating, as if they are looking right into your soul. Now, imagine this person has a very light and friendly inner combination, like a social Libra sun and a curious Gemini moon. Internally, all they want to do is connect, chat, and create a pleasant harmony. But their Scorpio rising suit is broadcasting an energy of intensity and suspicion. They might constantly find themselves in situations where people seem intimidated by them or keep them at a distance. They'll wonder, why are people so wary of me? I'm one of the friendliest people I know. The breakthrough happens when they stop fighting their Scorpio rising and start working with it. They recognize that their default setting can be overwhelming for others in a casual context. So, they learn to consciously modulate it. In the first few minutes of meeting someone new, they make an intentional effort to dial down the intensity. They consciously choose to smile, which accesses their Libra sun's natural charm. They ask light, curious, non-probing questions, tapping into their Gemini moon's communicative nature. They deliberately relax their posture and soften their gaze. They are not being fake. They are skillfully piloting their vehicle. They are dimming their powerful Scorpio high beams so as not to blind the oncoming driver, allowing for a safe and comfortable connection to be established. Once that initial trust is built, the depth, loyalty, and insight of their Scorpio rising can emerge as a tremendous gift in the relationship, rather than a barrier at the outset. This instinctual nature of the rising sign also governs our knee-jerk reactions in moments of surprise or crisis. Imagine a fire alarm suddenly blares in a crowded room. A Virgo rising's automatic, pre-conscious reflex is likely to be analytical. Find the source of the alarm, locate the emergency exit plan on the wall, and begin mentally organizing an orderly evacuation. A Leo rising's instinct might be to immediately assume a leadership role, to command attention, and to guide others with a sense of dramatic, reassuring authority. And a Pisces rising's first impulse would be to feel the wave of collective panic in the room, to merge with the emotional atmosphere and to be drawn instinctively toward the person who is most frightened or in need of help. These aren't calculated thoughts. They are the purest expression of the Ascendant's energetic wiring. So let's turn this back to you for a moment of reflection. Think about the feedback you have received over your lifetime, particularly from people who didn't know you well at first. Has anyone ever described their first impression of you in a way that took you by surprise? Perhaps you were told, "You know, before I got to know you, I thought you were so aloof," when you were just feeling shy. Or, "I was a little intimidated by you," when you were just feeling focused. Or maybe, "I felt like I could tell you anything right away." I want you to compare this external feedback with your internal reality at that time. Where is the gap? How does the fundamental nature of your rising sign perfectly explain that difference between how you feel on the inside and how you are first perceived on the outside? We've now explored the theory and the mechanics of this cosmic doorway, its role in the Trinity, its guiding captain, and its function as your energetic interface with the world. Now it's time to stop talking about the door and actually walk through it. We're going to begin exploring the specific, tangible energy of each rising sign, group by group, starting with the raw, dynamic, and instinctual power of the fire signs. It's time to feel the heat and understand the spark you bring into the world. So let's step into that heat. When your rising sign is one of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, your soul's chosen vehicle for this lifetime, that energetic spacesuit, is fueled by pure, radiant, and dynamic energy. Your approach to the world is defined by action, enthusiasm, courage, and a powerful drive to express your identity. Fire is the element of spirit and inspiration. As a fire rising, your fundamental instinct when encountering anything new, a person, an idea, a challenge, is to engage with it directly and immediately. You are here to learn by doing, by leaping, by experiencing. Hesitation, for you, feels like a stifling of the soul. Your very purpose from the moment you enter a room is to bring warmth, to bring energy, and to act as a catalyst. You are, in the most elemental sense, the spark. Now, this fiery energy expresses itself in 3 distinct flavors depending on the specific sign. If you are an Aries rising, you embody cardinal fire. You are the pure initial spark of ignition itself. Your approach is raw, impulsive, pioneering, and courageous. Your life is a series of new beginnings, and your core impulse is to assert your existence with the simple, powerful declaration of, I am. Your gift is the courage to begin. For a Leo rising, you are the fixed fire. Think of the steady, radiant, and life-giving flame of the sun, or the central hearth of a home. Your energy is more stable, more focused. Your instinct is to express yourself creatively and to shine your unique light with warmth, charisma, and a touch of dramatic flair. Your core impulse is one of confident self-expression, a powerful I will. And if you are a Sagittarius rising, you are mutable fire. You are the spreading wildfire of enthusiasm, or the flaming arrow shot towards a distant horizon. Your approach is expansive, optimistic, and relentlessly truth-seeking. You engage with the world through adventure, learning, and the pursuit of meaning. Your core impulse is to explore, to understand, and to declare, I see. While your methods may differ, your fuel is the same: inspiration and the undeniable urge to act on it. This brings us to the most critical, actionable insight for anyone with a fire ascendant. The fastest and most reliable way for you to feel alive, aligned, and on your true path is to take action, any action, in the direction of your inspiration, no matter how small or illogical it may seem. Overthinking, excessive planning, and waiting for the perfect moment are your spiritual kryptonite. They will extinguish your flame faster than anything else. Your soul is designed for momentum. You must learn to trust your immediate, intuitive impulse and move before you have all the answers. For you, clarity does not come from deliberation. Clarity comes from the act of doing. You are designed to build the path as you walk it. Let's ground this in a real-world scenario. Imagine a Sagittarius rising who feels utterly trapped and spiritually depleted in their stable but monotonous accounting job. They know something needs to change, but they don't know what. A well-meaning friend with an Earth rising might advise them to create a 5-year career plan. An Air rising friend might suggest they research 20 different business ideas online. For the Sagittarius rising, these approaches feel like putting weights on their soul. They lead to analysis paralysis and deeper stagnation. One evening, while scrolling aimlessly online, they see an ad for a weekend workshop on wilderness survival skills. It has absolutely nothing to do with their career. It seems random, impractical, and a bit strange. But for a split second, a tiny spark of genuine enthusiasm ignites within them. That spark is everything. The spiritually correct path for this Sagittarius rising is to honor that spark without question and immediately sign up for the workshop. They don't need to know where it will lead. Their only job is to follow the energy. So they go. During the workshop, while learning to build a fire, they get into a conversation with the instructor, a passionate explorer who spends half the year leading treks in Patagonia. The instructor mentions they're looking for someone to help manage the travel logistics and write for their company blog. Suddenly, a door opens. A door that combines adventure, learning, and communication, all core Sagittarian themes. This opportunity would never have appeared on a spreadsheet or in a career research session. It could only be found through the momentum created by following a single illogical spark of inspiration. For a fire rising, the inspired impulse is a sacred directive from the universe. Your task is not to rationalize it, but to act on it. The what is always less important than the go. Of course, this approach comes with its own set of challenges. The shadow side of all this dynamic energy can be a profound impatience. You may rush into situations, projects, or relationships without looking before you leap, leading to predictable burns. For Aries and Sagittarius risings in particular, there can be a difficulty with follow-through. You are brilliant starters, but once the initial thrill of the chase or the joy of creation fades, you can lose interest and look for the next spark, leaving a trail of unfinished projects behind you. And because your primary orientation is toward your own energy and expression, you can sometimes appear self-centered or insensitive to the needs and rhythms of others, who may operate at a much slower, more deliberate pace. Your life's journey is about learning not just how to start the fire, but how to tend to it, sustain it, and use its warmth to nurture yourself and others over the long haul. So if you are an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius rising, I invite you to engage in a moment of fiery reflection. Look back at the pivotal moments in your life, the times when you felt the most energized, the most authentically yourself, the most on fire with purpose and passion. Were those moments preceded by long, careful deliberation and meticulous planning? Or did they erupt from a moment of sudden, spontaneous decision-making, a courageous leap of faith, a burst of creative expression, or an explosion of physical energy? Now, bring your awareness to the present. What is the one small, inspired impulse you are feeling right now that your logical mind has been dismissing? What is the little spark you've been talking yourself out of? What would it feel like to honor it, to trust it, and to simply take one small action on it today, just to see what happens? This radiant, fast-moving, and often beautifully unpredictable energy of fire is a powerful gift, a force for initiation and inspiration in a world that so often feels stuck. But for a fire to burn for a long time and create something of lasting value, it needs a container. It needs substance. It needs earth. And so we turn from the wild spark to the patient soil, exploring the grounded, practical, and enduring world of the earth-rising signs, whose journey begins not with a leap, but with a single, solid step. If the fire risings are the divine spark of inspiration, then you, the earth risings, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, are the fertile ground where that inspiration can take root and grow into something real, tangible, and lasting. Where fire is fast, you are patient. Where fire is impulsive, you are deliberate. Your soul's chosen vehicle for this lifetime is one of stability, practicality, and methodical progress. Your entire approach to the world is filtered through your five senses and a fundamental need for what is real, provable, and useful. You are the master builders, the patient gardeners, and the dedicated craftspeople of the Zodiac. Your instinct when encountering a new situation is not to leap, but to assess, to touch, to test, and to ask, how can I make this work in the real world? Your sacred purpose is to bring form to the formless, to create order and structure from chaotic ideas, and to manifest spirit into matter. Your how is a masterclass in patience. This grounding energy comes in three distinct forms of expression. If you are a Taurus rising, you embody fixed earth. You are the rich, fertile field, steadfast, and utterly dependable. Your approach to life is sensual, steady, and deeply rooted. You move at your own pace, and your primary drive is to build tangible security, comfort, and value. Your powerful instinct is to accumulate and preserve, guided by the principle of I have. For a Virgo rising, you are mutable earth. Think of a well-tended, highly organized, and productive garden. Your approach is analytical, helpful, and keenly aware of the details. You instinctively see the flaws in any system and are driven to improve, refine, and perfect. You engage with the world through acts of service and by creating efficient processes, always guided by the question, how can I make this better? Your core impulse is I analyze. And if you are a Capricorn rising, you are the cardinal earth. You are the great mountain, ambitious, enduring, and solid. Your approach to life is disciplined, responsible, and highly strategic. You have an innate understanding of structure and hierarchy, and you engage with the world by setting long-term goals and working tirelessly to achieve them. Your core impulse is to build a lasting legacy, guided by the powerful principle of I achieve. Though your focus may vary, your foundational need is the same: to create something real, reliable, and enduring in the material world. Herein lies the most crucial insight for any Earth rising. Your path to feeling secure, capable, and deeply purposeful is paved with process, patience, and direct engagement with the physical world. Your greatest superpower is your ability to take one small, practical, manageable step, and then another, and another, with unwavering consistency. You must learn to trust in the magic of slow, incremental growth and resist the modern world's obsession with overnight success. Your power is not in your speed, it is in your phenomenal endurance. While others may sprint and burn out, you are built for the marathon. Let's illustrate this with a common, intimidating goal: writing a novel. A fire rising might get a wild burst of inspiration and write 50 pages in a single weekend, only to lose momentum and abandon the project. An air rising could spend months creating elaborate character maps and intricate plot outlines, intellectually perfecting the story, but never actually writing a word. A water rising might wait for the muse to strike, producing beautiful prose only during rare moments of divine inspiration. Now, enter the Earth rising, let's say a Virgo rising. The idea of writing a 300-page book feels monstrous and paralyzing. So they don't focus on the mountain, they focus on the single stone in front of them. Their genius lies in their ability to break the overwhelming goal into its smallest possible components. Their strategy isn't the vague write a novel, it's the concrete, actionable plan. I will write 300 words every single morning from 7:00 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. before I go to work. And I will dedicate 2 hours every Saturday to editing what I wrote during the week. They create a practical system, the unique gift of Virgo. They show up every day, honoring the process, regardless of whether they feel inspired or not. Some days the words flow, and other days it's a struggle, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the consistent, methodical effort. A year goes by. The fire rising has a brilliant but unfinished manuscript. The air rising has a perfect, color-coded outline. The water rising has a few exquisitely written chapters, but the Virgo rising has a completed, edited, and polished first draft. They conquered the mountain not with a heroic leap, but with the quiet, formidable, and relentless power of showing up, day after day. For you as an Earth rising, the magic is in the method. The small, consistent action is your secret weapon. Of course, the shadow side of this steady energy can manifest as a deep resistance to change. Your need for stability and predictability can become rigidity, a fear of the unknown that keeps you in situations long past their expiration date. Your practical focus on what is can sometimes curdle into pessimism, an overemphasis on potential pitfalls that prevents you from taking necessary and healthy risks. There's also a danger of becoming so identified with your work and tangible achievements that you neglect your emotional and spiritual well-being, forgetting that not everything of value can be measured, held, or deposited in a bank. Your life's journey involves learning to trust that you are sturdy enough to handle change, and that true security comes not just from the material world, but from a well-nourished inner one. So if you are a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn rising, take a moment to ground yourself. Think about a significant accomplishment in your life, something you are deeply proud of. Was it the result of a sudden lucky break? Or was it the culmination of a long period of steady, patient, and perhaps at times, unglamorous effort? Now, bring to mind a goal you have right now that feels impossibly huge, almost laughably out of reach. I want you to ignore the mountain for a moment. What is the very next, smallest, most practical physical step you could take to move toward it? Not a big plan, not an idea to research, but one single tangible action you can complete in the next 24 hours. This deliberate, tangible, and grounding energy of Earth provides the very foundation upon which all lasting structures in our world are built. But before a blueprint can be laid upon the ground, before a single stone can be placed, the plan must first exist as an idea, a concept, a communication. And so, We now lift our focus from the patient soil to the invisible vital currents of the air, exploring the social, intellectual, and communicative world of the air rising signs. We leave the solid, tangible ground of the earth risings and ascend into the invisible yet vital realm of pure thought, social connection, and communication. If your rising sign is one of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, your soul's primary vehicle for navigating this lifetime is your brilliant, complex, and ever-active mind. Where earth risings trust what they can touch, you trust what you can understand. Your instinctual approach to any new situation is to think about it, to talk about it, and to relate to it. You are driven by a deep need for conceptual clarity and social connection. You are the great messengers, the diplomats, and the networkers of the Zodiac. Your purpose is to build bridges not with mortar and stone but with words, ideas, and shared perspectives. You are here to foster understanding, to ask the essential questions, and to bring a cool breeze of rationality and objectivity to the often heated and chaotic situations of life. Your how is verbal, intellectual, and social, and you learn best by engaging in a dynamic exchange of information and viewpoints. This intellectual social energy manifests in three unique ways. If you are a Gemini rising, you are the embodiment of mutable air. Imagine a whirlwind of information, endlessly curious and brilliantly adaptable. Your approach to the world is defined by inquisitiveness, communication, and a quick, witty intellect. You are a natural gatherer and disseminator of data, making connections between disparate ideas with lightning speed. Your automatic impulse in any new environment is to ask questions and learn the names of everything and everyone, driven by the core principle of I think. For a Libra rising, you are cardinal air. You are the gentle, harmonizing breeze that fosters social grace and diplomacy. Your instinctual approach is charming, fair-minded, and relationship-oriented. You automatically seek to create balance and beauty in your environment and in your interactions. You engage with the world by initiating connections and acting as a mediator, always guided by the desire to weigh and consider, which flows from your core impulse. I balance. And if you are an Aquarius rising, you are the fixed air. Think of the high-altitude jet stream, cool, detached, and able to see the entire weather pattern from above. Your approach is unconventional, objective, and humanitarian. You engage with the world from a unique, often forward-thinking perspective, with an innate ability to detach from the immediate drama and see the larger system at play. Your core impulse is to connect with the group, the community, the collective, guided by the principle of I know, in a way that is less about ego and more about a connection to universal truths. For all air risings, the most powerful and transformative insight is this: your path to clarity, purpose, and peace of mind is forged by externalizing your thoughts. You are not designed to figure things out in the silent, isolated vacuum of your own mind. Your intellect is like a brilliant diamond, but it only shows its full fire when it is held up to the light of dialogue. This dialogue can be with another person, or it can be with the pages of a journal. The key is the act of translation, turning the swirling mists of your internal thoughts into the concrete form of words, spoken or written. Trying to solve your problems purely inside your head will almost always lead to anxiety, indecision, and a feeling of being trapped in a mental hamster wheel. Your breakthrough always comes from the exchange. Let's watch this in action. Imagine a Libra rising facing a classic Libra dilemma, a major life decision with two equally valid options. Let's say they have a great job offer in a new city, but they also have deep roots and a beloved community where they currently live. They are paralyzed. Their Libra rising instinct is to find the perfect, most balanced, and harmonious choice. But from their perspective, the scales are perfectly even. For weeks, they torment themselves with an endless internal debate. On the one hand, the new opportunity is amazing. But on the other hand, I would miss my friends so much. This mental loop creates immense stress and inaction. The moment of release comes when they finally do what their air-rising nature is begging them to do. They socialize the problem. They call their most logical friend and make a passionate, well-reasoned case for why they should move. The next day, they have coffee with their most sentimental friend, and articulate all the beautiful reasons why they should stay. Finally, they meet with a mentor and just lay out the entire confusing mess. Through the simple act of speaking, of forming their chaotic thoughts into structured sentences, the answer illuminates itself. It wasn't that their friends gave them some magical advice they hadn't considered. It was that the process of externalization allowed their own powerful intellect to sort, prioritize, and connect with their deeper truth. For you as an air rising, talking is not just communicating. It is a fundamental and necessary form of thinking. The potential challenges for this airy approach are rooted in its greatest strengths. Your wonderful objectivity can sometimes tip over into a cool detachment, where you over-intellectualize your life and disconnect from the wisdom of your own emotions. You might find yourself thinking about how you feel instead of allowing yourself to actually feel it. For Gemini and Libra risings especially, the gift of seeing every perspective can become the curse of indecisiveness, leading to a perpetual state of analysis paralysis. There is also the risk that the love of information and social connection can remain on the surface, devolving into idle gossip or a superficial collection of facts without ever touching the deeper substance of a topic or a person. Your journey is to learn how to ground your brilliant mind in the wisdom of the heart and the reality of the body. So, if you identify as a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius rising, let's bring this into your present moment. Think about the last time you were truly stuck on a complex problem or a significant decision. Did you find your answer in quiet, solitary contemplation? Or did the light bulb moment happen during or after a conversation where you tried to explain your thoughts to someone else? Or perhaps after you wrote it all out in a journal? Now consider a point of confusion or indecision in your life right now. Who is the one person you could talk to? Or what is the one clarifying question you could write at the top of a fresh page that would begin to turn that mental static into a clear, coherent signal? This cool, clear, and objective energy of air provides the conceptual frameworks and social bonds that structure our human world. It gives us language, logic, and the beauty of relationship. But a world of pure intellect, a life lived only in the mind, would be a sterile one. It needs the one thing that gives our experience meaning, depth, and soul. It needs water. And so we prepare to descend from the lofty heights of the mind into the quiet depths of the heart, to explore the profoundly intuitive, emotionally rich, and mystical world of the water-rising signs. We take a deep cleansing breath, release the world of pure logic and cool objectivity, and gently submerge ourselves into the element that gives life its mystery, its meaning, and its soul: water. If your rising sign is one of the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, your primary and most natural way of navigating the world is not through impulsive action, practical planning, or intellectual analysis. Your gift is your ability to navigate by feeling, by intuition, and by a profound energetic sensitivity. You don't just see the world, you feel it. Your instinct upon entering any new environment is to extend your energetic antennae, sensing the emotional currents, the unspoken truths, and the psychic atmosphere that flows just beneath the surface of mundane reality. You are the mystics, the healers, the empaths, and the artists of the Zodiac. Your purpose is to connect on a soul level, to remind a disconnected world of the power of the unseen, and to hold space for the full spectrum of human emotion. Your how is receptive, deeply empathetic, and guided by an inner knowing that defies rational explanation. This deep current of watery wisdom flows in 3 distinct streams. If you are a Cancer rising, you are the embodiment of cardinal water. Think of the protective, life-giving tide pool, or the gentle rain that nurtures the earth. Your instinctual approach to life is gentle, sensitive, and profoundly self-protective. You meet the world with a caring and nurturing demeanor, but always with a protective shell at the ready. Your primary impulse is to create emotional safety for yourself and for others, to connect through shared feeling, and to build bonds of familial love. Your entire being is organized around the core principle of I feel. For a Scorpio rising, you are the fixed water. You are the deep, still, and powerful underground lake, holding immense pressure and secrets within your depths. Your approach to the world is intense, perceptive, magnetic, and incredibly resilient. You instinctively see beneath the surface, piercing through superficiality to the core truth of any person or situation. You engage with the world with a quiet power, seeking deep, transformative and authentic bonds, driven by the powerful impulse of I desire, in the sense of a deep soul-level yearning. And if you are a Pisces rising, you are mutable water. You are the vast, boundless ocean itself, porous and connected to everything. Your approach is compassionate, imaginative, and spiritually attuned. You meet the world with a gentle, dreamy, and often chameleon-like quality, dissolving your own boundaries to merge with the energy around you. Your core impulse is to connect with the universal, to have faith, and to express compassion, all flowing from the deep well of, I believe. For every water rising, the single most important spiritual task of your lifetime is to learn to trust your intuition as your primary and most reliable compass. Your gut feelings, your energetic reads on people, and your non-logical knowings are not random emotional whims. They are highly sophisticated data streams. To honor them, even when, especially when, they contradict external evidence or logical arguments, is to align with your deepest power. Because you are so naturally receptive and energetically porous, the co-requisite for this task is the conscious cultivation of energetic boundaries. Learning to differentiate my feelings from your feelings is the key that unlocks your ability to use your incredible sensitivity as a gift, rather than being drowned by it. Let's witness this intuitive power in a real-world scenario. Imagine a Pisces rising who is considering going into a business partnership. They meet a potential partner who, on paper, is an absolute dream. This person has a flawless resume, a meticulously detailed business plan, brilliant ideas, and an infectious, fiery enthusiasm. All the Pisces rising's friends and family, operating from logic and external appearances, are telling them this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they would be a fool to pass it up. But every time our Pisces rising is in the same room as this person, they feel a subtle but persistent sense of unease. It's like a perfectly tuned instrument hearing one string that is slightly, almost imperceptibly out of key. There is no logical reason for this feeling. The person is charming, says all the right things, and has all the right credentials. The Pisces rising's rational mind is screaming at them that they are being paranoid and self-sabotaging. In their younger years, they might have ignored this feeling, deferred to logic, and walked straight into a disastrous situation. But having learned the nature of their ascendant, they now understand that their intuition is their most rigorous form of due diligence. They politely and gracefully decline the partnership, offering no concrete reason, much to the bewilderment of everyone around them. 6 months later, the news breaks that this perfect partner was at the center of a major financial scandal, built on a foundation of deception. The Pisces rising's intuition had perceived the energetic signature of inauthenticity that all the spreadsheets, resumes, and charming conversations had completely missed. The crucial lesson here is that for you, as a water rising, your feelings are not noise. They are the signal. Your gut instinct is the final report. The challenges for this sensitive approach are, of course, the flip side of its strengths. That beautiful, empathetic nature can lead to porous or non-existent boundaries, where you unconsciously absorb the moods, pain, and problems of others until you are exhausted, depleted, and have lost your own emotional center. You can be easily overwhelmed by harsh, loud, or critical environments, leading to moodiness or a powerful need to withdraw and isolate yourself to psychically recalibrate. There can also be a tendency to avoid harsh realities or direct confrontation, preferring to retreat into a world of imagination and feeling. This can sometimes manifest as escapism, or a difficulty in dealing with the mundane, practical demands of everyday life. Your journey is about learning to be the compassionate observer of the world's emotional ocean without feeling you have to swallow all of it. So, if you are a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces rising, I invite you to float in this question for a moment. Reflect on a time in your past when you had a powerful gut feeling about a person or a choice, an intuitive knowing that ran contrary to all logic or what others were advising you. Did you listen to that quiet inner voice, or did you dismiss it? What was the result of your choice? Now, Bring your awareness to your life today. Is there a person, a situation, or a decision that your logical mind has given the green light to, but your deep, quiet intuition is gently waving a red or yellow flag about? What would it take for you to begin treating that subtle inner voice not as a fanciful notion, but as your most trusted and wisest advisor? This receptive, empathetic, and profoundly intuitive energy of water is what gives our lives meaning, richness, and soul. It is the invisible current of love and connection that flows through all things. Now that we have journeyed through all four of the elemental approaches to life, the dynamic spark of fire, the patient substance of earth, the connecting concepts of air, and the deep feelings of water, we are prepared to bring our lens into high definition. We will now begin to explore each of the 12 rising signs, one by one, in intimate detail. We start, as the Zodiac always does, at the beginning, with the raw, untamable, pioneering, and courageous energy of Aries rising. And so we arrive at the very beginning, the vernal equinox of the soul's journey through the Zodiac. To have an Aries rising is to be born into this world through the energetic gate of pure, unadulterated initiation. You enter the room of life, and your presence alone announces, something is about to start. You are the cosmic spark, the first courageous breath, the primal, undeniable impulse that declares, I am here. Your ruling planet is Mars, the fiery red planet of action, desire, assertion, and warfare. This means your entire life is, in essence, a Martian journey. You are here to learn about your own will, your own desires, and your own power to make things happen. Your path is not one of quiet contemplation, but of dynamic engagement with the world. Your fundamental how is to approach life head-on. You are the pioneer, the trailblazer, the one who is unafraid to go first. Your instinct in any situation is to act, not to deliberate. You solve problems by moving toward them, not by thinking about them from a distance. There is a beautiful and often startling simplicity to your approach. While others are weighing pros and cons, you are already halfway to the destination. Your energetic handshake is confident, direct, and crackling with a restless energy. People feel this from you immediately. You can come across as incredibly confident and inspiring, but also at times as impatient, blunt, or even a bit aggressive, because your energy is so forward-moving and pure. It doesn't have the patience for social niceties that feel inauthentic. Physically, this often manifests as a quick, purposeful stride, a tendency to lean forward when you speak, and a direct, unwavering gaze. There is a sense of readiness in your body, as if you are a coiled spring always prepared for action. The central theme of your life's journey is the development of courage and radical independence. You are here to find out who you are by doing things. Your identity is forged in the fires of experience. You throw yourself into life, make mistakes, pick yourself up, and learn on the fly. You are not here to follow a well-trodden path. You are here to clear your own, often with a machete of pure willpower. The universe will consistently place you in situations that require you to be a self-starter, to stand up for yourself or others, and to lead the charge without a map. Your soul is learning to trust its own impulses and to initiate action without needing the validation or permission of anyone else. This brings us to the core insight for mastering your Aries Ascendant. Your greatest gift is your powerful, impulsive, initiating energy, but your biggest challenge is learning to channel it effectively without burning out or creating unnecessary conflict. The secret is to fully embrace your divine role as the count starter and release yourself from the belief that you must also be the finisher. Your purpose is to be the catalyst. Think of yourself as the one who lights the fuse on the firework. You have the unique courage and vision to get things off the ground, to break through inertia and procrastination. But a firework is a brilliant, short-lived explosion. It's not a long, slow-burning fire. Forcing yourself to manage the tedious, long-term details of a project after the initial excitement has worn off will feel like torture and will deplete your vital energy. The highest expression of your Aries rising is to honor the purity of your initial impulse, launch the project with all your passion, and then consciously build a team of collaborators, perhaps those with strong earth or water placements. who excel at nurturing and sustaining what you have begun. Your job is to strike the match, not to tend the eternal flame. Let's see this play out in a common scenario. A team project at work has completely stalled. In the meeting room, there's a palpable sense of inertia. The air sign members are endlessly debating abstract theories. The earth signs are paralyzed by budget concerns, and the water signs are picking up on the team's anxious, defeated mood. Nothing is moving forward. You, the Aries rising in the room, are feeling a visceral, almost physically painful sense of impatience. Your body is humming with pent-up energy that needs a release. You don't care about finding the perfect plan. Your entire being is screaming, "Let's just do something." A less self-aware Aries rising might act on this impulse from the shadow. They might interrupt a colleague, bulldoze the conversation with frustration, and bluntly declare, "This is a waste of time. I'm just going to do it my way," effectively alienating the entire team and seizing control through force. But the conscious, self-aware Aries rising understands their role is to inspire action, not to dictate it. They feel that same Martian impulse, but they channel it constructively. They might stand up, commanding attention with their energy, and say, "I hear all of these valid points, but I feel we're stuck in analysis paralysis. I have an idea for one small, simple experiment we can run this afternoon. It won't cost much, and it's not the final plan, but it will give us some real data instead of just more theories. Let's just try it. What's the worst that can happen? At least we'll be moving." In that moment, you haven't provided the perfect answer, but you've injected something far more valuable. Pure, unadulterated momentum. You have broken the spell of inaction. Your courage gives the rest of the team something tangible to work with, and the project lurches back to life. You have perfectly fulfilled your role as the divine initiator. Your journey will always involve navigating the shadow side of Mars. Your incredible drive can manifest as recklessness. Your directness can wound others if not tempered with a little awareness. Your natural competitiveness can make you see allies as rivals, and your tendency to run on adrenaline can lead to spectacular burnout if you don't learn that rest is not a sign of weakness, but a necessary strategy for the warrior. So, if you are an Aries rising, I want you to reflect on the phrase, "Act first, think later." Our culture often dismisses this as foolish, but I invite you to re-examine it as your superpower. Look back on your life's most significant turning points, your biggest successes, your proudest moments of growth. How many of them were the result of a spontaneous, courageous leap you took long before you felt fully prepared? Now, look at your life as it is today. In what area are you holding yourself back, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for permission, waiting for a guarantee? What is the one brave initiating action your soul is quietly, or perhaps not so quietly, begging you to take this week? The path of the Aries rising is the heroic journey of the pioneer, a life spent learning to trust the power and purity of your own spark. But after the initial big bang of creation, after the match has been struck and the fire has been lit, the universe requires a new kind of energy. It needs an energy that can take that raw, chaotic, fiery impulse and begin to give it form, substance, and lasting stability. And so we move from the warrior to the builder, from the spark to the soil as we explore the grounded, patient, and sensual world of Taurus rising. If the Aries rising is the warrior who kicks down the door to a new and untamed territory, you, the Taurus rising, are the master builder who walks calmly through that doorway, assesses the quality of the land, feels the soil between your fingers, and begins to draw up the blueprints for a beautiful, secure, and enduring home. Where Aries is the volatile spark, you are the reliable substance. Your entrance into the world is through the energetic gate of stability, sensuality, and earthly grace. You are here to bring form to the fire, to ground the chaos, and to create something of lasting value. Your ruling planet is Venus, the celestial goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, and worth. This colors your entire life's journey. You are on a Venusian pilgrimage, learning to cultivate beauty, to build tangible security, and to find divinity in the simple, profound pleasures of the physical world. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a slow, steady, and deliberate pace. You are not here to rush. You are here to build, to stabilize, and to savor. Your instinct when faced with a new situation is to ground yourself and engage your five senses. You trust what is real, what is tangible, what you can see, touch, taste, smell, and hear. Abstract concepts and impulsive decisions feel unsafe and unreliable to you. Your energetic handshake is one of profound calm and unshakable presence. People often feel instantly more at ease and secure in your company, as if your very being is an anchor in a stormy sea. This can, of course, also be perceived as being slow to move or even stubborn, because you fundamentally refuse to be pushed or hurried out of your natural rhythm. There is a what you see is what you get integrity to your persona that is deeply reassuring. Physically, this grounded energy can manifest as a solid, sturdy build, a graceful yet intentional way of moving, and a calm, steady gaze that takes everything in without judgment. You may also be blessed with a particularly pleasant or resonant voice, as Taurus rules the throat and vocal cords. The central story of your life is the journey of constructing a safe, comfortable, and beautiful world for yourself, one deliberate brick at a time. You discover who you are through what you create and what you choose to value. The primary themes are the development of unshakable self-worth and the cultivation of true security, both materially in the outer world and emotionally in your inner world. You are learning to be your own source of comfort, to trust in your innate resources, and to appreciate the profound wealth that lies in simple, everyday pleasures. The universe will consistently provide you with opportunities to practice patience, to build things from the ground up, and to learn that true value endures long after fleeting excitement has passed. This leads us to the most vital insight for you as a Taurus rising. Your greatest power is hidden in your deliberate pace and your intimate connection to your five senses. In a frantic modern world that worships speed, multitasking, and constant change, your most radical and healing act is to unapologetically honor your own slower, more methodical rhythm. Your best, wisest, and most enduring decisions will never, ever be made in a rush. The key to your well-being, your clarity, and your strength is to consciously and regularly ground yourself in the physical world through simple sensory experiences. This could be the feeling of soil in your hands as you garden, the taste of a lovingly prepared meal, the sound of beautiful music, the sight of a sunset, or the feeling of a soft blanket. This is not mere self-indulgence. For you, it is a sacred practice. It is your primary method for regulating your nervous system, calming anxiety, and accessing the deep, quiet, earthy wisdom that is your birthright. Let's imagine a classic scenario that would deeply challenge a Taurus rising's core need for security: an unexpected job loss. After a decade at the same stable company, your foundation is suddenly pulled out from under you. The shadow response for a Taurus rising would be to panic and freeze. Your stubbornness could curdle into a rigid resistance to this new reality. You might become completely immobilized by the fear of the unknown, refusing to even look for a new job because nothing could possibly feel as safe as what you've lost. This inertia could lead to overindulging in comfort foods or other sensory escapes, not as a healing practice, but as a way to numb out and avoid the terrifying uncertainty. Now let's look at the conscious, self-aware Taurus rising. You feel the same earthquake of fear, but you know how to work with your innate Venusian nature. Instead of frantically rushing to apply for dozens of jobs online, you do the exact opposite. You intentionally slow down. You give yourself a few days not to strategize, but to simply re-inhabit your body and your senses. You go for a long, silent walk in the woods, paying attention to the feeling of the solid earth beneath your feet. You take the time to cook a truly nourishing and delicious meal, savoring every single bite. You put on an album that makes you feel peaceful and whole. You wrap yourself in your most comfortable clothes. By consciously engaging your senses, you are calming your nervous system and reminding yourself, on a cellular level, that your worth and your security are not solely dependent on a job title. You are reconnecting with your own intrinsic value. From this place of inner calm and stability, you can then begin your job search, patiently, methodically, and from a position of strength, seeking not just any job, but the right job that will provide true, long-term value. You build your inner foundation first. The challenges on your path are the shadow side of your greatest strengths. That legendary Taurian stability can become immovable stubbornness, causing you to cling to situations, people, or beliefs long after they have ceased to serve you. Your love for the beautiful material world can become an overattachment to possessions, or a mistaken belief that your self-worth is measured by your bank account. And your deep love of comfort and peace can sometimes lead to complacency or inertia, causing you to settle for good enough, rather than undertaking the uncomfortable effort required for true growth. So, if you are a Taurus rising, I invite you to gently consider your relationship with speed and pressure. In what areas of your life do you feel hurried by the world around you? Where are you being told to make faster decisions, to adapt more quickly, or to change in ways that don't feel authentic to your pace? Notice what that pressure feels like in your body. Now imagine giving yourself full and complete permission to move at your own natural, sacred Taurian rhythm in that area of your life. What is one simple, tangible, sensory pleasure you could mindfully engage in today? Savoring a cup of tea, listening to one beautiful song without distraction, or simply feeling the sun on your skin, to help you reconnect with that powerful, patient, and wise builder who resides within you. The path of the Taurus rising is one of patient, deliberate construction, a life devoted to building a world of beauty, stability, and tangible worth. It teaches all of us the profound wisdom of the body and the earth. But once the foundation is laid and the walls of the house are built, the restless energy of the universe grows curious. It wants to open the windows, to let in a fresh breeze, and to start a conversation with the neighbors. And so we shift from the silent, steady builder to the witty, adaptable messenger, as we explore the endlessly curious and communicative world of Gemini rising. We leave the quiet, solid, and beautifully walled garden of the Taurus rising and step out into the bustling, noisy, and ever-changing city streets. If you are a Gemini rising, your soul chose to enter this world through the energetic gate of boundless curiosity, quick-witted communication, and ceaseless mental activity. You did not come here to settle down and build one thing. You came here to explore, to question, to learn, and to connect. You are the divine messenger, the cosmic journalist, and the eternal student. Your ruling planet is Mercury, the clever, fast-moving god of the mind, commerce, and communication. This makes your life a fundamentally mercurial quest. You are here to follow your curiosity down 1,000 different roads, gathering information and experiences, and then sharing what you've learned with the rest of the world. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a quick, adaptable, and inquisitive mind. You are here to learn, to communicate, and to connect disparate ideas and people. Your first instinct in any new situation is to scan your environment, ask questions, and start a conversation. You thrive on variety, novelty, and mental stimulation. Routine and predictability are the death of your vibrant spirit. Your energetic handshake is youthful, charming, witty, and intelligent. You are a natural conversationalist, possessing an uncanny ability to find common ground with almost anyone and talk about nearly anything. To others, you can also seem restless, a bit scattered, or even inconsistent, because your mercurial attention is always ready to dart towards the next interesting person, idea, or shiny object. Physically, this often expresses as a light, agile build with quick, animated movements. You might talk with your hands, and your eyes are likely bright, alert, and constantly scanning your surroundings, taking in streams of data. There is a palpable aura of youthful, and at times nervous, energy about you. Your life's path is not a straight, linear progression, but a fascinating, winding journey of gathering and disseminating information. You are a lifelong student, and whether you do it professionally or not, you are also a natural teacher and storyteller. The central theme of your journey is the development and refinement of your powerful intellect and your communication skills. You are learning to skillfully and ethically wield the power of words, ideas, and information. The universe will consistently present you with variety, choices, dualities, and an endless curriculum of new things to learn. Don't mistake your winding path for being lost. The many detours and side quests are not distractions from your path. They are your path. Each one adds a unique tool to your ever-expanding toolkit. Herein lies the most crucial insight for you as a Gemini rising. Your brilliant, adaptable mind is your greatest gift, but it can easily become a source of profound anxiety and scattered energy if it is not given a clear focus or a productive outlet. Your primary spiritual task is to learn how to be the master of your mind, rather than its servant. You must embrace your multifaceted nature and consciously choose what you feed your intellect, much like curating a healthy diet. The key to your peace is to always be actively learning something new and to find consistent, healthy outlets for your innate need to communicate. This could be a journal, a blog, a podcast, a debate club, a teaching role, or simply a circle of friends who love to engage in stimulating conversation. You must give your mind a puzzle to solve, a language to learn, or a story to tell. If you don't give it a constructive job, it will create its own, which often takes the form of anxiety, worry, and restless overthinking. You have to feed the beast, or it will start to feed on itself. Let's look at a classic Gemini rising dilemma. Feeling like a jack of all trades, master of none in a world that often prizes hyper-specialization. You're talking to a friend, perhaps a Capricorn or Leo rising, who has a very clear linear career path they've pursued with singular focus for years. Meanwhile, you feel like a failure. In the last decade, you've been a journalist, then a social media manager, then you took a course in graphic design, then you learned to code, and now you're working part-time in a bookstore while you take up pottery. You judge yourself as being flaky, unfocused, and lacking direction. The shadow response is to try and force yourself to finally pick one thing and stick with it, even if it feels like climbing into a cage. This inevitably leads to boredom, resentment, and a deep feeling of inauthenticity. But the self-aware Gemini rising has a profound aha moment when they learn to reframe their entire story. You look back at that seemingly random resume, and you stop focusing on the job titles. Instead, you look for the common skill, the golden thread that weaves through everything. And you see it. It's all about information and communication. As a journalist, you gathered and structured stories. As a social media manager, you disseminated information to a mass audience. With graphic design, you learned to communicate visually. With coding, you learned the very language of computers. In the bookstore, you connect people with ideas and stories. You are not a flake. You are a communication specialist who is building a uniquely versatile and powerful skill set. This insight is utterly liberating. You stop trying to find the one perfect job and instead begin to consciously craft a life or career that allows you to combine your many interests and skills, perhaps by starting a freelance business or a creative project that integrates writing, design, and technology. You create a container that is big enough to hold all of your fascinating, multifaceted self. The challenges on your path are the other side of your mercurial gifts. Your love of variety can make it incredibly difficult to see long-term projects through to completion. Your highly strung mental energy can easily tip into nervous tension and anxiety if you're not grounded. Your thirst for information can sometimes devolve into a taste for superficial trivia or gossip. And your adaptable, changeable nature, your ability to mirror the person you're with, can sometimes be perceived by others as being inconsistent, insincere, or even two-faced. So, if you are a Gemini rising, I want you to think of your mind as a beautiful, powerful, and highly sensitive radio receiver. Take a moment and ask yourself, what stations have you been tuning into lately? Is the programming filled with interesting new knowledge, inspiring ideas, and uplifting connections? Or is your dial stuck on a station that plays a non-stop loop of static, anxious chatter, and meaningless gossip? What is one new subject? A language, a musical instrument, a historical period, a documentary series, that you could consciously tune your brilliant mind into this week, just to feed its natural hunger for learning, and give it a positive, focused, and fascinating channel to explore? The path of the Gemini rising is a dizzying, delightful whirlwind of curiosity, a life spent dancing with new ideas and weaving intricate connections through the magic of language. It teaches us all the vital importance of adaptability and the pure joy of a nimble, open mind. But after all the talking has been done, after all the data has been gathered and all the questions have been asked, the soul inevitably yearns for something more. It yearns for a place to come home to, a place of safety, deep feeling, and unconditional belonging. And so, we move from the ever-curious mind to the deeply feeling heart, as we seek the gentle, nurturing, and protective embrace of Cancer rising. We take a step out of the noisy, bustling marketplace of ideas that defines the world of Gemini rising, and we walk down a quiet, familiar lane towards a house with a warm, inviting light glowing in the window. If you are a Cancer rising, your soul entered this world through the energetic gateway of the heart, of deep feeling, of poignant memory, and of profound belonging. You did not come here to collect data, but to collect connections. You are the divine nurturer, the quiet protector of the vulnerable, and the keeper of the sacred flame of home. Your ruling celestial body is not a planet, but the moon itself, the luminary that governs our emotions, our subconscious, our moods, and the powerful archetype of the mother. This means your entire life is a lunar journey, a path dictated not by logic or by impulse, but by the subtle, powerful, and ever-changing tides of your own feelings and the search for true emotional security. Your fundamental how is to approach the world with caution, sensitivity, and a powerful emotional radar. You are here to feel, to nurture, and to protect. Your first instinct in any new situation is not to analyze it or to charge into it, but to feel it out. You absorb the emotional atmosphere of a room the way a sponge absorbs water. You are guided by an intuition that tells you on a gut level who is safe, what is comfortable, and where the emotional dangers lie. Before you can truly relax and reveal your inner self, you must first establish a sense of safety and trust. Your energetic handshake is often soft, gentle, caring, and perhaps a bit shy or reserved initially. People tend to feel instinctively that you are trustworthy and that they can be vulnerable around you. You radiate a comforting, non-threatening aura. However, this watery nature also means your moods can be palpable. If you feel unsafe or threatened, that famous crab shell immediately comes up and you can appear guarded, defensive, or withdrawn. Physically, this energy often manifests in softer, rounder features, particularly in the face. Your eyes are often kind, deeply expressive, and can have a luminous, watery quality. You might unconsciously adopt a protective posture, like crossing your arms or holding a bag in front of you, creating a subtle barrier until you feel secure. The central story of your life is a profound journey of learning to navigate the vast and often overwhelming world of emotions, both your own and those of others. Your primary theme is the development of true emotional intelligence and the creation of a security that cannot be taken away. While you may seek safety in external things, a stable home, a close-knit family, a secure relationship, your ultimate soul lesson is to build that sense of home and safety within yourself. Your journey is about learning how to be your own mother, to nurture yourself, to protect yourself, and to provide the unconditional love and acceptance you so freely offer to others. The universe will consistently present you with opportunities to care for people, pets, or projects, and in doing so will test and strengthen your ability to set healthy, compassionate emotional boundaries. This leads directly to the most vital and life-changing insight for you as a Cancer rising. Your profound emotional sensitivity is your superpower, but it will feel like a terrible curse if you do not learn to build a strong, flexible shell of self-care and firm emotional boundaries. Your spiritual work is not to feel less. It is to become a masterful container for your feelings, so that they can inform you without overwhelming you. For you, creating a physical sanctuary, a home that feels truly safe, comfortable, and uniquely yours, is not a frivolous luxury. It is a non-negotiable spiritual necessity. Your home is your recharging station, because you absorb so much emotional and psychic energy from the outside world throughout the day. You must have a place where you can retreat, release what isn't yours, and come back to your own center. Let's watch this play out in a classic Cancer rising challenge. Attending a large, loud, overwhelming social event, like a corporate networking conference. The room is buzzing with chaotic, superficial energy, and it feels like a psychic assault to your sensitive system. The shadow response is to immediately and completely retreat into your shell. You might find the darkest corner, pull out your phone as a shield, and appear aloof, moody, and totally unapproachable. You are absorbing the ambient anxiety of hundreds of people, and all you can feel is a desperate mounting panic and a need to flee. You leave feeling drained, defeated, and deeply critical of yourself for being too sensitive or socially awkward. Now, let's look at the self-aware Cancer rising. You know your nature, so you prepare. You anticipate the overwhelm and you build your shell ahead of time. You choose an outfit that feels like a comfortable suit of armor. You decide to drive yourself so you have a guaranteed escape route and aren't dependent on anyone else. When you enter the chaotic room, you don't try to force yourself to be a social butterfly. That's not your design. Instead, you set a small, achievable, and meaningful goal. I will try to have one genuine conversation. You use your powerful emotional intuition to scan the room, not for the most powerful person, but for the person who looks the kindest, the most authentic, or perhaps even a little overwhelmed just like you. You gently approach that one person and use your gift to create a tiny, safe bubble of real connection in the middle of the chaos. You stay for an hour, you achieve your goal, and then you give yourself loving permission to leave, honoring your energy limits. Back at home, you perform a conscious cleansing ritual, a warm bath, a quiet cup of herbal tea, listening to calming music, to wash off the energetic residue of the event. You have navigated a deeply challenging environment by working with your beautiful, sensitive nature, not by fighting against it. Your journey will always involve managing the moon's shadow. Your sensitivity can make you easily hurt and prone to withdrawing. Your moods will ebb and flow, a reality you must accept in yourself and explain to others. When you feel threatened, your fear of abandonment can cause you to become clingy, or your self-protective instinct can become a sharp defensiveness. Learning not to take everything personally is a lifelong practice. So, if you are a Cancer rising, I invite you to gently reflect on the concept of home. Go beyond the physical walls of your house. What people, what activities, what environments, what interstates truly make you feel at home in your own skin? What creates that feeling of deep safety, comfort, and unconditional belonging for you? Now look at your daily and weekly life. Are you consciously and consistently making time for these sources of nourishment, or are you hoping the outside world will magically provide them for you? What is one small, deliberate, nurturing action you can take just for yourself today to reinforce the walls and warm the hearth of your own inner sanctuary? The path of the Cancer rising is a tender, quiet, and profound journey into the heart of feeling itself, a life spent learning to create a sanctuary of safety and to nurture life in all its precious forms. It teaches us the sacred power of emotional connection, vulnerability, and true belonging. But once the home has been made secure, and the heart feels safe enough to be seen, the soul often feels a new and powerful urge. It is the desire to step out from behind the safety of the front door, to stand boldly in the warm sunlight, and to joyfully, creatively, and generously express the unique inner light that has been so carefully and lovingly nurtured. We now move from the gentle, reflective light of the moon to the radiant, creative fire of the sun itself, as we step onto the grand and waiting stage of Leo rising. And so we step out from the gentle, protective moonlight of Cancer rising and into the full, glorious, life-giving blaze of the midday sun. If you are a Leo rising, you were quite literally born onto the stage of life. Your soul's entrance into this world was through the energetic gate of creative self-expression, joyful radiance, and charismatic, warm-hearted leadership. You did not come here to hide in the wings. You came here to be seen. You are the natural performer, the dignified royal, and the glowing warm center of your own universe. Your ruling body is the sun itself, the heart of our solar system, the source of all light, vitality, and creative power. This means your entire life is a solar journey. You are on a grand quest to discover your own unique inner light, and then to learn how to shine it brightly, authentically, and generously for the benefit of all. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a sense of creative flair, a touch of healthy drama, and an innate desire to express your inner self in the outer world. You are here to shine, to create, and to lead from the heart. Your first instinct in any situation is to bring warmth, enthusiasm, and a playful, engaging energy. You see life as a grand performance, and you are here to play your part with passion and style. Your energetic handshake is magnetic. You radiate a natural confidence, warmth, and charisma that often draws people to you, like moths to a flame. You tend to have a dignified, almost regal bearing that commands respect without demanding it. When you walk into a room, people notice. The shadow side of this, of course, is that if you're feeling insecure, this same energy can come across as overly dramatic, demanding of attention, or self-centered, because your need to be seen becomes a hunger rather than a gift. Physically, this solar energy often manifests as a strong, upright posture and a sense of nobility in your movements. You likely have a radiant smile that lights up your whole face and a warm, engaging gaze. A glorious mane of hair is a classic, though by no means universal, Leo rising trait. But more than any single feature, you possess an aura of vitality and star quality. The central story of your life is a journey of creative self-actualization. Your primary purpose is to answer the question, what makes me uniquely me? And then to find the courage to share that authentic self with the world, joyfully and without apology. The main theme of your path is the development of authentic confidence and heart-centered leadership. Your journey is about graduating from a dependency on external validation, the constant need for applause and praise from others, to a state of inner sovereignty where your confidence comes from the simple, profound joy of your own creative expression. You are learning how to be the benevolent king or queen of your own heart's kingdom. The universe will consistently provide you with opportunities, both large and small, to take the stage, to express your creativity, and to lead others with your infectious warmth and generosity. This brings us to the most powerful insight for you as a Leo rising. Your radiant creative spirit is a profound gift that can inspire, uplift, and warm everyone it touches. Your core spiritual task is to learn the crucial difference between attention-seeking that springs from an insecure ego and genuine self-expression that flows from an open, generous heart. The master key to unlocking your highest potential is generosity. When you consciously focus on shining your light for the benefit of others, to bring them joy, to entertain them, to warm them up, to inspire them to be their own best selves, your natural charisma becomes a potent and beautiful force for good. However, when you are unconsciously seeking applause simply to prove your own existence, that same brilliant light can feel needy, demanding, and self-serving. Think of the sun itself. It radiates its light and warmth freely in all directions, giving life to everything. It doesn't check to see who is appreciating it. That is the model for your highest expression. Let us watch this dynamic unfold in a classic Leo rising arena. Giving a presentation at work. You've been tasked with presenting a major new project to the company's leadership. You feel that familiar cocktail of thrilling excitement and stomach-churning terror. The stage is calling, but so is the fear of being judged. The Leo rising, operating from the shadow, from the insecure ego, will be utterly consumed with how they are being perceived. Their inner monologue is all about, do I look powerful enough? Is my suit right? Do they like me? Am I coming across as brilliant? The entire presentation becomes a performance designed to extract validation. They might be overly dramatic, boastful of their own role in the project, and subtly dismissive of their team's contributions. They are so focused on getting their needs met that they fail to meet the needs of the audience, and the message gets lost. The performance falls flat because its energy was selfish. Now consider the self-aware, heart-centered Leo rising. You feel the same pre-show jitters, but you consciously perform a vital mindset shift. Before you walk on stage, you take a deep breath and ask a different set of questions. Instead of, how can I get their approval? You ask, how can I best serve this audience? How can my genuine passion for this project ignite their excitement? How can I use my warmth and energy to make them feel included and inspired? You shift your focus from seeking attention to giving energy. Your presentation is still wonderfully charismatic, engaging, and probably a little bit theatrical. That's your beautiful, natural style. But its core intention is now generous. You use your magnificent storytelling ability to make the dry data come alive. You make a point to shine a warm spotlight on the contributions of your team members. The audience feels your authentic passion and your generous spirit. They aren't just impressed, they are moved and inspired. And of course you receive the thunderous applause you secretly crave. But it comes as a natural, beautiful byproduct of your heartfelt gift, not as something you desperately tried to seize. The challenges on your path are always related to the sun's pride. Your need for validation can make you painfully sensitive to criticism and can lead to a feeling of deep despair if you feel ignored or unseen. Your natural confidence can inflate into arrogance, making it difficult to admit fault or to share the spotlight gracefully. And your love for the dramatic can at times lead you to create or exaggerate problems just to place yourself at the center of an unfolding story. So, if you are a Leo rising, I invite you to contemplate the stage of your life for a moment. Who is your audience? It might be your family, your colleagues, your community, or the whole world. And more importantly, what is the unique light that you are here to shine upon them? What is that creative gift, that special passion, that brand of joyful energy that, when you share it, makes you feel utterly and completely alive? Now consider this question. Are you waiting for the world to build you a bigger stage and aim a spotlight on you? Or can you find small but meaningful ways every single day to generously shine that beautiful warm light for the people right in front of you, whether the stage is a boardroom or a kitchen table, and without any expectation of applause in return? The path of the Leo rising is a radiant and courageous journey of creative self-expression. A life spent learning to lead with an open, playful heart and to shine with unstoppable generosity. It teaches us all the magnificent power of authentic, heart-centered confidence. But after the grand performance is over, when the applause has faded and the audience has gone home, someone has to stay behind to sweep the stage, organize the props, and quietly analyze what worked and what could be improved for the next show. And so we move from the charismatic star of the show to the humble and dedicated stage manager as we enter the discerning, helpful, and quietly perfect world of Virgo rising. The house lights come up, the glitter from the grand performance settles onto the floor, and the last echo of applause finally fades into a respectful silence. And in that quiet, post-show moment, a new and altogether different energy enters the room. If you are a Virgo rising, you did not come here for the spotlight. You came here to make sure the show ran perfectly, on time, and under budget. Your soul's entrance into this world was through the energetic gate of discernment, helpful service, and the humble, relentless pursuit of improvement. You are not the star. You are the master craftsperson, the divine analyst, the quiet healer who sees the broken pieces and knows exactly how to make them whole again. Your ruling planet is Mercury, the same as Gemini rising, but you embody its earthy, practical application. While Gemini's Mercury gathers information for the joy of it, your Mercury gathers information to sort it, categorize it, and use it to solve a real-world problem. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a keen, analytical eye and an innate desire to make things better. You are here to serve, to refine, and to organize. Your very first instinct when encountering any new person, system, or situation is to scan for imperfections. This is not a moral failing. It is your core wiring. You immediately and automatically notice what's out of place, what is inefficient, what is unhealthy, and what could be improved. Your energetic handshake is often intelligent, competent, modest, and somewhat reserved. You have a clean, orderly, and understated presence that can be incredibly calming. However, people may also sense your discerning nature and feel a bit self-conscious around you, as if you are quietly analyzing their flaws. You can also come across as worried or anxious, because your mind is so finely attuned to all the potential problems and details that others blissfully ignore. Physically, this often manifests in a neat and tidy appearance, a sense of self-containment, and a clear, intelligent, and observant look in your eyes. The central story of your life is a journey of refinement, of your skills, your health, your environment, and yourself. You are here on a sacred mission to bring order to chaos and to be of genuine, practical service to the world. Your primary soul lesson is the development of discernment without harsh judgment. You are learning to use your powerful and precise analytical skills to help to heal and to improve rather than to criticize and tear down, which is a tendency you can apply just as mercilessly to yourself as to others. Your great spiritual journey is about learning to release the impossible standard of perfect and instead embrace the profound holiness of good enough and of being a work in progress, just like everyone else. The universe will consistently draw you toward messy situations, chaotic systems, and people in need of practical help, providing endless opportunities for you to apply your incredible gifts for healing and organization. This brings us to the most powerful and healing insight for you as a Virgo. Rising. Your ability to see the flaws is your greatest gift, but it will inevitably curdle into chronic anxiety and a relentless self-criticism if it is not channeled outward in tangible acts of helpful service. Your mind is a high-performance diagnostic tool. If you leave it idle or turn it on yourself, it will start diagnosing all of your own problems, a task at which it will never run out of material. Your spiritual task is to give your analytical mind a constructive, external job to do. When you are wholly focused on solving a problem outside of yourself, organizing a friend's chaotic garage, editing a colleague's messy report, volunteering to manage the logistics for a community event, your own inner critic falls silent. It's too busy. Your purpose is not found in the lonely pursuit of personal perfection, but in the deep satisfaction of making a tangible, useful, and helpful contribution to the world around you. Let's imagine a classic Virgo rising scenario. You're stuck at home, trapped in a spiral of anxiety and self-doubt. You're obsessing over a tiny mistake you made in an email at work 3 days ago, replaying it over and over. You look around your living room and instead of seeing a comfortable space, you only see the fingerprint on the window, the dust on the baseboards, and the books that are slightly askew on the shelf. You feel a sinking sense of failure. Nothing is ever quite right, and you are not good enough. The shadow response is to turn this critical lens inward like a weapon. You become paralyzed by the fear of making another mistake, so you do nothing. The anxiety mounts, and you might try to control it by obsessively cleaning one small area, or you might give up completely, sinking into a feeling of despair that you can never meet your own impossible standards. Now, the self-aware Virgo rising recognizes the telltale symptoms of their inner critic running amok. You know from experience that the antidote is not to think your way out of the anxiety. The antidote is service. You deliberately take the laser beam of your attention off your own perceived inadequacies and aim it at a place where it can be of use. You call up a friend who you know is overwhelmed with a new project. You say, "I have a few free hours this afternoon. Can I come over and help you organize your research notes? I'm great at creating spreadsheets." For the next 2 hours, your powerful, detail-oriented mind is completely and happily absorbed in a practical, tangible task for someone you care about. You are creating order from chaos. You are being genuinely, beautifully useful. When you leave, your friend is relieved and grateful, and you suddenly realize that your own anxiety has completely evaporated. Your mind was soothed because it was given a productive, helpful job to do. You have channeled your core Virgo energy in its highest expression. The challenges on your path are always the shadow of your gifts. Your perfectionism can be a tyrant. Your tendency to worry can manifest as stress-related health issues, particularly digestive problems, which Virgo rules. Your critical eye, if not softened by compassion, can come across as judgmental or nitpicky, and you can get so lost in perfecting the details that you sometimes lose sight of the larger vision. So if you are a Virgo rising, I invite you to become a compassionate observer of your own inner critic for the next 24 hours. Just notice its voice, without judgment. What are the specific imperfections it is relentlessly pointing out in you, in others, or in your environment? Now, reimagine that critical voice not as a cruel judge, but as a highly skilled master craftsperson who is simply unemployed and deeply bored. What is one small, practical, manageable task you could give that part of your mind to do for someone else this week? It could be as simple as helping a neighbor figure out a confusing form, proofreading a resume for a friend, or tidying up the office kitchen. Just notice the profound shift in your inner state when your analytical genius is put to good, kind use in the world. The path of the Virgo rising is a humble, quiet, yet profoundly powerful journey of refinement. A life spent learning to bring order, healing, and practical help to a beautiful but imperfect world. It teaches us all the deep dignity and grace of service. But once the self has been analyzed and the inner house has been put in meticulous order, the soul naturally looks outward. It seeks not to fix, but to relate, not to perfect, but to partner, not to analyze, but to harmonize with another. We now move from the intricate sacred details of the self to the graceful aesthetic dance of partnership as we seek the balance, beauty, and relational harmony of Libra rising. We leave the quiet, orderly, and meticulous workshop of the Virgo rising, where every single tool is in its perfect place, and we step into an elegant, art-filled salon where the light is soft, the music is beautiful, and the conversation flows with effortless grace. If you are a Libra rising, your soul's entrance into this world was through the energetic gate of harmony, beauty, justice, and relationship. You did not come here to perfect the self in quiet isolation. You came here to discover yourself in the sacred and revealing mirror of the other. You are the divine diplomat, the artist of compromise, the eternal seeker of balance. Your ruling planet is Venus, the same as Taurus rising, but you express her airy, intellectual, and social side. While Taurus Venus finds beauty in a solid, valuable object, you find beauty in a perfectly balanced argument, a harmonious social gathering, or the elegant dance of a thriving partnership. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a deep and abiding desire for fairness, balance, and pleasant social connection. You are here to relate, to harmonize, and to beautify. Your very first instinct in any new situation is to be agreeable, to seek common ground, and to smooth over any potential conflict before it can begin. You possess the incredible gift of being able to see, with genuine empathy, all sides of an issue. This allows you to be an incredible mediator, but it can also be the source of your greatest challenge. Your energetic handshake is the epitome of charm and grace. You come across as polite, cultured, fair-minded, and wonderfully pleasant. People are often immediately put at ease by your non-judgmental and diplomatic aura. You have a natural talent for making others feel seen, heard, and valued. The shadow of this is that your deep desire to be liked and to maintain a pleasant atmosphere can sometimes cause you to seem indecisive, overly accommodating, or even insincere if your need to please overrides your authentic feelings. Physically, this Venusian energy often bestows a pleasingly symmetrical facial structure, a graceful way of moving, and a truly charming smile. You have a natural eye for aesthetics and balance, which is often reflected in your elegant and well-put-together appearance. The central story of your life is a journey of profound learning that takes place primarily within the context of your relationships. Your one-on-one partnerships, be they romantic, business, or deep friendships, are the main stage upon which your soul's evolution will unfold. The primary theme of your life is the quest for balance, both in your outer relationships and within your own being. You are on a lifelong mission to learn how to perfectly balance your own needs with the needs of others, how to make just and fair decisions, and how to create true harmony without sacrificing your own precious truth. Your journey is about finding and holding the delicate point of equilibrium on those cosmic scales. The universe will consistently present you with situations that require your gifts of diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise, and it will continuously test your ability to see another's perspective while still standing firmly in your own. This leads us to the most vital insight for you as a Libra rising. Your superpower is your ability to create harmony and see all perspectives. But this gift becomes a debilitating trap when it devolves into chronic indecision and a quiet erosion of your own identity. Your great spiritual task is to learn that true lasting harmony is not born from pleasing everyone. It is born from making the right, just, and fair choice, even if that choice is temporarily unpopular or creates discomfort. You must learn to use your magnificent inner scales not just to weigh the opinions and desires of others, but to place your own inner truth, your own needs and your own values on one side of the scale and give them equal sacred weight. Your power is truly activated when you graduate from being a peacekeeper, someone who avoids conflict at all costs, to being a true peacemaker, someone who has the courage to actively create authentic peace, even if it requires a difficult but honest conversation to get there. Let's witness this in a classic Libra rising dilemma, making a simple decision that will inevitably displease someone you care about. Imagine you're planning a vacation with your partner. In your heart of hearts, you are craving a quiet, restorative trip to the mountains. Your partner, however, is excited about the idea of a busy, stimulating vacation in a major city. The shadow response for the Libra rising is to be paralyzed by the fear of this minor conflict. The thought of disappointing your partner, of creating even a moment of disharmony, feels deeply, viscerally uncomfortable. So, you do what you do best. You accommodate. You suppress your own desire. "Oh, the city sounds wonderful," you say with a bright smile that doesn't quite reach your eyes. You then spend the entire vacation feeling a low-grade hum of resentment and exhaustion because your own needs are going completely unmet. You have successfully kept the peace, but you have done so by creating a deep inner imbalance and introducing a subtle note of dishonesty into the relationship. Now, the self-aware, conscious Libra rising feels that same deep discomfort with conflict, but they also recognize that their own needs are valid. They use their innate diplomatic gifts to create true peace, not a false one. They might say something like, "I can see you're so excited about the city, and I totally get why. That does sound like a lot of fun. I have to be honest, I was feeling a really strong pull for some quiet time in nature. I wonder if we could brainstorm a third option that might give us both a little of what we're looking for." Or they might negotiate, "How about we do the city this time, on the happy understanding that our very next trip is my choice for the mountains, no questions asked." They don't just give in, they engage. They use their charm and fairness to initiate a calm, loving, and respectful conversation that honors both people. This approach creates a peace that is authentic, strong, and lasting. They have used their Venusian gifts not to run from a problem, but to solve it beautifully. The challenges on your path are always the shadow side of your grace. Your indecisiveness can be maddening for yourself and others. Your people-pleasing tendencies can lead to codependency, where you lose your own identity in your relationships. Your deep-seated conflict avoidance can mean you allow unhealthy situations to fester rather than facing them head-on. And your love for all things beautiful and pleasant can sometimes lead to a superficiality, an avoidance of life's messier, more complex, but ultimately more profound truths. So if you are a Libra rising, I invite you to contemplate those beautiful symbolic scales of justice and balance. Think about your most important one-on-one relationships right now. Are the scales truly balanced? Are you giving and receiving care, attention, and respect in roughly equal measure? Now turn your focus inward. In your inner life, are you giving your own needs, desires, and opinions equal weight to those of the people around you? I want you to identify one specific area where you have been consistently and quietly putting someone else's preference ahead of your own. What is one small, graceful, and diplomatic step you could take this week to begin bringing those scales back into a more honest, fair, and authentic balance? The path of the Libra rising is an elegant and sophisticated dance, a life spent learning how to create beauty, fairness, and harmony in the sacred space between I and thou. It teaches all of us the profound and challenging art of true relationship. But what happens after the polite diplomatic conversation ends? What lies beneath the beautiful, harmonious surface of our most intimate connections? To find out, we must be willing to dive deep into the shadows, into the turbulent waters of power, intimacy, vulnerability, and soul-level transformation. We now leave the sunlit, graceful salon of Libra and prepare to descend into the mysterious, magnetic, and alchemical world of Scorpio rising. We take a final appreciative look at the bright, harmonious, and beautifully balanced social world of Libra rising, and then, taking a deep and steadying breath, we plunge beneath the shimmering surface. If you are a Scorpio rising, your soul's entrance into this world was not through the gate of social grace, but through the energetic portal of mystery, power, and profound transformation. You did not come here for pleasantries and surface-level connections. You came here for the raw, unvarnished, and often uncomfortable truth. You are the divine alchemist, the soul psychologist, the silent observer who sees all the secrets that lie hidden in the shadows. Your path is not one of ease, but of depth. Your rulers are twofold. Traditionally, you are ruled by Mars, giving you the focus, strategy, and cutting power of a warrior. In modern astrology, you are also ruled by Pluto, the lord of the underworld, granting you access to the realms of power dynamics, subconscious truths, and the great cycles of death and rebirth. Your life is a constant process of alchemy. Your fundamental how is to approach the world with a powerful, penetrating perception and an unwavering instinct to look beneath the surface. You are here to transform, to empower, and to perceive the hidden truth. Your first instinct in any new situation is to be still, silent, and to observe. You hold your power in reserve, watching, listening, and sensing the undercurrents that others miss. You are sussing out the hidden motivations, the unspoken desires, and the intricate power dynamics at play. You are a natural-born psychologist, detective, and strategist. Your energetic handshake is one of the most potent and unmistakable in the zodiac. It is intensely magnetic and deeply private. People are often simultaneously fascinated by you and deeply intimidated by you, and they may not even know why. You possess a formidable presence, even when you are completely silent. Your gaze is famously penetrating, often making people feel as if you are looking directly into their soul. This, combined with your natural reserve, can cause you to seem suspicious, secretive, or unapproachable because you do not reveal your own cards easily. There is a palpable sense of still waters run deep about you that commands respect. Physically, this energy is most often expressed through the eyes, which can be dark, deep-set, and incredibly intense. Your movements are often controlled and deliberate, and you carry a general aura of quiet, contained power. The central story of your life is a dramatic and heroic journey of continuous death and rebirth. You are a natural phoenix. Your life will likely be characterized by a series of profound, defining transformations, where old identities, relationships, or entire ways of being must metaphorically die and burn away, allowing you to emerge from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. The primary theme of your journey is the development and mastery of personal power and the cultivation of radical emotional authenticity. You are learning to consciously and ethically wield the immense power you hold within, and to understand that true strength is found not in hiding your wounds, but in the vulnerability it takes to heal them. Your journey is about having the courage to face your own deepest shadows, so that you can, in turn, hold space for others to face theirs. The universe will consistently draw you into situations that involve crisis, secrets, intensity, and deep psychological truths, making you a powerful and often unintentional catalyst for transformation wherever you go. This brings us to the most crucial spiritual insight for you as a Scorpio rising. Your greatest gift is your power to see the hidden truth and to facilitate transformation. But this very gift can become a self-destructive poison if it curdles into cynicism, relentless suspicion, and a terrified refusal to ever be truly vulnerable. Your most important and challenging spiritual task is to learn how to trust. This means learning to selectively trust others, yes, but on a much deeper level. It means learning to trust that you are powerful and resilient enough to handle being vulnerable. You must learn to trust that you can reveal your true, imperfect self without needing your impenetrable emotional armor all the time. Your great life lesson is that true power is not found in absolute control and invulnerability. It is found in the immense courage it takes to be authentic and to build genuine soul-bearing intimacy through the sacred act of shared vulnerability. Let's witness this in a deeply personal arena. The formation of a new, potentially intimate friendship. You meet someone with whom you feel a rare and genuine soul-level connection. As the friendship deepens, the other person begins to open up, sharing their fears and personal vulnerabilities with you. The shadow response for the Scorpio rising is to feel a primal surge of fear. Your programming screams that vulnerability is weakness, that this information is ammunition they could one day use against you. So, you expertly deflect. When your friend shares something personal, you respond not with a shared vulnerability of your own, but with a sharp, insightful psychological question about them, masterfully turning the spotlight back onto them. You remain the mysterious, all-knowing enigma, revealing none of your own cracks or fears. You maintain control of the dynamic by being the invulnerable observer. But in doing so, you create a power imbalance that makes true equal-footed intimacy impossible. Now, the self-aware, conscious Scorpio rising feels that same initial jolt of fear, but they recognize it for what it is, the clanging shut of their own prison door. They understand that the genuine connection their soul craves lies on the other side of that fear. So, when their friend shares a vulnerability, they take a quiet, deep breath and make a courageous choice. They choose to match it. They might say, "Thank you for trusting me with that." It actually reminds me of a time I felt completely lost and powerless when they reveal one small, authentic, vulnerable piece of their own story. This act does not diminish their power. It magnifies it beyond measure. It transforms the dynamic from an interrogation into a sacred exchange. It builds a bridge of profound trust that allows for the deep, transformative intimacy you crave more than anything. You prove to yourself that your incredible resilience means you can survive being truly seen. The challenges on your path are always rooted in the fear of betrayal and loss of control. Your suspicion can become paranoia. Your need for control can make you manipulative. Your intense privacy can starve your relationships of the oxygen they need to breathe. And your powerful focus can become a dark obsession. So if you are a Scorpio rising, I want you to think of your emotional armor, your privacy, as a fortress you have built. Take a moment to thank it. It has kept you safe. It has served a vital purpose. But now I want you to conduct an honest assessment of its walls. Are they still protecting you, or have they become your prison? Is there one person in your life right now with whom you feel a genuine desire for a deeper, more authentic connection? What is one small, true, and vulnerable thing, a fear, a hope, a past hurt, that you could choose to share with that person this week? See it not as an act of weakness, but as a courageous offering of trust and a powerful invitation into the temple of true intimacy. The path of the Scorpio rising is a deep, intense, and often solitary journey into the very heart of transformation, a life spent learning that true power lies not in control, but in the unwavering courage to face the truth. It teaches us the profound healing that comes from embracing our own shadows. But after we have journeyed through the metaphorical underworld and have been reborn, the soul feels a powerful and undeniable urge for something new: freedom. We crave the open sky, the distant horizon, and the exhilarating wind in our hair. And so we move from the focused, contained intensity of the alchemist's chamber to the wide-open spaces of the philosopher's quest, as we joyfully embark on the optimistic and adventurous journey of Sagittarius rising. We emerge from the deep, psychologically intense and transformative underworld of the Scorpio rising, blinking as our eyes adjust to the bright, wide-open sky. Our hearts, having been tested in the fires of alchemy, are now filled with a sudden, expansive, and utterly irrepressible yearning for freedom. If you are a Sagittarius rising, your soul's entrance into this world was through the energetic gate of high adventure, boundless optimism, and the joyful, lifelong quest for truth. You are not here to plumb the depths, but to scan the horizons. You are the eternal explorer, the cheerful philosopher, the wisecracking guru, and the divine archer whose gaze is always, always fixed on a distant and promising horizon. Your ruling planet is Jupiter, the great benefic, the planet of growth, expansion, wisdom, luck, and unwavering faith. Your entire life is a Jupiterian journey, a grand quest for meaning, a pilgrimage to gather experiences, and a mission to discover a larger, more benevolent perspective on reality. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a spirit of unshakable optimism, infectious enthusiasm, and a voracious hunger for new experiences. You are here to explore, to learn, and to understand. Your first instinct in any new situation is to see the potential for growth and adventure. You are the person who, in the face of a challenge, is most likely to ask, "What is the lesson here?" or to find the humor in the absurdity of it all. You are driven by life's big questions. Why are we here? What is the meaning of it all? Your energetic handshake is warm, friendly, enthusiastic, and often a bit larger than life. People are naturally drawn to your joyful, expansive energy and your fantastic sense of humor. You are a natural storyteller, teacher, and preacher, able to spin the tales of your adventures into lessons of wisdom. The shadow of this is that you can also come across as restless, non-committal, or bluntly honest to a fault, as you possess very little patience for what you perceive as negativity, petty details, or small-minded thinking. Physically, this Jupiterian energy often manifests in a free, open, and athletic way of moving. You likely have a broad, easy smile that reaches your eyes, which often have a distinct twinkle of mirth and wisdom. You feel most at home in open spaces and can have a palpable restlessness about you, even when sitting still. The central story of your life is a grand adventure in search of meaning. Your path is not about putting down deep roots in one place, but about constantly expanding your horizons, both literally through travel and experiencing different cultures, and mentally, through a lifelong love of learning, philosophy, and spirituality. The primary theme of your journey is the development of a resilient and personal faith. This isn't necessarily about organized religion, but about learning to trust in the fundamental goodness and benevolence of the universe. Your life's work is to synthesize all of your vast and varied experiences into a cohesive worldview, a personal truth that can serve as your guiding star. Your journey is about finding something to believe in that is big enough to hold all of your questions. The universe will consistently provide you with opportunities to travel, to study with a great teacher, to become a teacher yourself, and to take exhilarating leaps of faith into the unknown. This brings us to the most powerful insight for you as a Sagittarius rising. Your greatest gift is your boundless optimism and your unquenchable thirst for freedom. But this can curdle into a deep-seated fear of commitment and a reflexive tendency to escape whenever life becomes difficult, mundane, or restrictive. Your most important spiritual task is to learn that true freedom is not the chaotic absence of all constraints and responsibilities. True freedom is the wisdom to choose your commitments consciously and the spiritual maturity to find the sense of adventure and learning in your everyday life. You must learn to bring your expansive, philosophical spirit to your current reality rather than perpetually believing that your real life is waiting for you somewhere, out there, on the next distant horizon. Let's imagine a classic Sagittarian challenge, being stuck in a period of necessary but mundane routine. You have a demanding but unexciting job that pays the bills, and your day-to-day life feels like a repetitive, soul-crushing cage. Your spirit is screaming for escape. You spend your workdays mentally drafting your resignation letter and planning your one-way ticket to Peru. The shadow response is to give in to pure escapism. You might impulsively quit your job with no savings or plan, finding yourself in an even more restrictive financial trap. Or more commonly, you simply check out. You do the absolute bare minimum at work, you numb out with distractions in the evenings, and you become a bitter complainer, boring your friends with endless talk about the someday when your real adventurous life will finally begin. You are physically present, but your spirit has already left the building. Now, the self-aware Sagittarius rising feels that same claustrophobic restlessness, but you use your Jupiterian wisdom to reframe the entire situation. You accept that you cannot physically leave right now, so you ask the great philosophical question, how can I bring the adventure here? You decide to treat your mundane life as an anthropological experiment. At your boring job, you volunteer to mentor the new hires, transforming your routine into an act of teaching. You start a lunch and learn club where you and your colleagues can discuss big ideas, bringing philosophy into the break room. In your personal life, you can't afford to go to Peru, so you decide to explore every single ethnic restaurant in your city, turning your dinners into a culinary world tour. You sign up for a night class in a subject you know absolutely nothing about, just for the thrill of expanding your mind. You haven't changed your external circumstances at all, but you have completely transformed your inner experience. You have found the freedom and expansion you crave within the container of your current life. And paradoxically, this is what gives you the energy, wisdom, and resources to eventually make that big trip to Peru a well-planned and successful reality. The challenges on your path are always the shadow of Jupiter's boundlessness. Your restlessness can become a fear of commitment that prevents you from building anything of lasting value. Your love of the truth can manifest as a brutal, tactless honesty that wounds others. Your magnificent optimism can sometimes become irresponsibility, as you carelessly assume everything will just work out. And once you believe you've found the truth, your inner philosopher can become an insufferable dogmatic preacher. So, if you are a Sagittarius rising, I invite you to contemplate the word freedom. What does that concept truly mean to your soul? Is it simply having no responsibilities and no one to answer to? Or is it about cultivating a mind and a heart that are so wise, so faithful, and so full of perspective that you can find a sense of joyful expansiveness wherever you are? Look at your life right now. Where do you feel the most confined, bored, or trapped? Instead of just dreaming of your escape, I challenge you to a Jupiterian experiment. What is one small adventure you can embark on, one new thing you can learn, or one big question you can explore, right within the so-called confines of that situation this week? See if you can discover the freedom that is already hidden within the form. The path of the Sagittarius rising is a joyful, expansive, and often hilarious quest for truth. A life spent learning that the greatest adventure of all is the expansion of one's own mind and heart. It teaches us the profound and resilient power of faith and optimism. But after the grand adventure is over, after the philosopher has returned with incredible stories and wisdom from afar, the energy of the universe shifts. It becomes more serious. It asks, "That's wonderful wisdom. Now what will you build with it? How will you bring these grand abstract truths down to earth and create something real, something structured, something that can stand the test of time?" And so, we move from the boundless horizon of the explorer to the steep, challenging, and formidable ascent of the master architect, as we begin the disciplined and ambitious climb of Capricorn rising. We leave the wide, expansive, and faith-fueled plains of the Sagittarian adventurer, with all of its boundless optimism and grand philosophical musings, and we arrive at the base of a great, formidable, and undeniably steep mountain. If you are a Capricorn rising, your soul's entrance into this world was through the energetic gate of discipline, responsibility, and unwavering, patient ambition. You did not come here to dream about the future. You came here to build it, brick by painstaking brick. You are the master architect, the patient CEO of your own life, the wise elder who understands the sacred, non-negotiable relationship between time and effort. Your ruling planet is Saturn, the great teacher, the lord of structure, limitation, discipline, and authority. Your entire life is a Saturnian journey, a challenging but ultimately rewarding quest to build something of true and enduring value through the old-fashioned, unglamorous virtues of hard work, integrity, and resilience. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a sense of solemn purpose, a long-term strategy, and a deep innate respect for structure and tradition. You are here to build, to achieve, and to master. Your first instinct in any new situation is to be cautious, to assess the rules of engagement, to understand the existing hierarchy, and to formulate a practical, step-by-step plan for success. You are not interested in flashy overnight success. You are deeply suspicious of it. You are interested in results that last, in a reputation that is earned, and in a legacy that can withstand the tests of time. Your energetic handshake is mature, serious, responsible, and highly capable, often from a very young age. People instinctively sense your competence and your self-possession, and they will often look to you for leadership and guidance, even if you don't seek it out. The shadow of this is that you can also come across as reserved, emotionally distant, pessimistic, or overly concerned with status and appearances. You have a formal, self-contained, and naturally authoritative aura that commands respect. Physically, this Saturnian energy often manifests in a strong bone structure, a serious or thoughtful default facial expression, and a deliberate, grounded, and purposeful way of moving. You carry yourself with a quiet authority, and many with this rising sign appear older or more mature than their chronological years. The central story of your life is a slow, steady, and determined climb to the top of your chosen mountain. Your path is not meant to be easy. It is meant to make you strong. It is defined by ambition, disciplined effort, and the gradual, well-earned accumulation of mastery and respect. The primary theme of your journey is the development of true self-reliance and authentic authority. You are on a lifelong mission to learn that real authority comes not from external titles, accolades, or the approval of others, but from your own unshakable inner integrity, your self-discipline, and your deep, quiet self-respect. Your journey is about becoming your own wise, compassionate, and dependable elder. The universe will consistently present you with challenges, heavy responsibilities, and long-term projects that will test your patience, your integrity, and your resilience to their very limits. You are here to learn through direct experience that you are capable of overcoming any obstacle and bearing any weight through sheer perseverance. This leads us to the most vital and healing insight for you as a Capricorn. Rising. Your greatest gift is your incredible self-discipline and your capacity to build enduring structures in the world. But this very gift can easily lead to a life of all work and no play, governed by a harsh inner critic who is never ever satisfied. Your most important spiritual task is to learn to offer yourself the same compassion, patience, and forgiveness that a wise elder would offer a striving student. You must consciously and deliberately schedule time for rest, for pleasure, and for unstructured, aimless play, and you must learn to see these things not as frivolous distractions from your work, but as essential strategic components of a truly successful and sustainable life. Your worth as a human being is not, and has never been, defined by your productivity. Let's witness this in a classic Capricorn rising scenario, the moment of achieving a massive long-term goal. After a decade of relentless effort, you have finally made partner at your firm, you have completed your PhD, you have built your business to a point of stability. You are standing on the summit. The shadow response for a Capricorn rising is to barely pause to acknowledge the achievement. The very moment your feet touch the summit, your eyes are already scanning the horizon for the next, even higher and more difficult, mountain to conquer. You might feel a brief hollow flicker of satisfaction, which is immediately extinguished by a wave of anxiety about the next goal. You brush off compliments and resist any attempts at celebration, because your inner Saturnian critic is whispering that you're not done yet, that you could have done it better, that you're already falling behind on the next objective. You are trapped on a merciless treadmill of ambition, unable to ever feel the joy and satisfaction of your own hard-won success. Now, the self-aware, conscious Capricorn rising feels that same powerful, instinctual pull to immediately focus on the next goal. But you recognize this as your old ingrained programming. You make a conscious and deliberate choice to override it. You schedule a celebration as if it were a board meeting. You take a planned vacation, and you make a rule that checking work email is forbidden. You sit down with a journal, and you make a list of every single obstacle you had to overcome to get to this point, taking the time to consciously honor your own resilience, your sacrifices, and your effort. You allow yourself to feel pride. You let the feeling of accomplishment sink into your bones. You understand that consciously honoring the summit is what provides the crucial nourishment and perspective needed to choose your next climb wisely and from a place of wholeness, rather than just scrambling up the next nearest peak out of a sense of anxious, empty momentum. You learn that rest and celebration are not signs of weakness. They are the wisest strategies of a true master. The challenges on your path are always the shadow of Saturn's weight. Your pragmatism can become a deep-seated pessimism or cynicism. Your powerful work ethic can become a joyless workaholism. Your emotional reserve can become a cold repression that makes true intimacy difficult. And your respect for rules and tradition can become a rigid, fearful resistance to necessary change and innovation. So, if you are a Capricorn rising, I invite you to think of your life as the great mountain you are currently climbing. What is the summit that you are striving for right now? Take a moment and be ruthlessly honest with yourself. What is the deep, true motivation for this climb? Is it coming from a place of genuine passion and a desire to build something of lasting value? Or is it being driven by a fear of failure, a need to prove your worth to an authority figure, or the harsh, relentless voice of your own inner critic? What would it look like, just as an experiment, to allow yourself one afternoon this week to do nothing productive at all? To simply sit down, enjoy the view from where you are right now on the path without once thinking about the next step of the ascent? The path of the Capricorn rising is a powerful testament to the dignity of effort and the resilience of the human spirit. A life spent learning to build structures of integrity and to achieve true mastery through unwavering discipline. It teaches us the profound honor of a hard-won achievement. But once you have successfully and painstakingly climbed to the very top of the established mountain, a new and startling perspective suddenly becomes available. You can see all the other mountains, all the other systems, and for the first time, you begin to question the very nature of the mountain you just climbed. And so we move from the masterful preserver of the system to the brilliant and eccentric reformer of the system as we enter the unconventional, visionary, and forward-thinking world of Aquarius rising. We are standing at the hard-won, windswept summit of the great Capricorn mountain, looking down with a sense of mastery at the intricate, traditional, and time-tested structures of society. And just then, a sudden, unexpected lightning bolt of insight flashes across the sky, illuminating everything from a completely new angle. A radical question echoes in the mind. This is impressive, but what if there's a better, freer, more humane way? If you are an Aquarius rising, your soul's entrance into this world was through this very energetic gate of revolutionary thought, brilliant innovation, and radical authenticity. You did not come here to master the system, you came here to upgrade it or to invent a new one entirely. You are the futurist, the humanitarian, the mad scientist with a heart of gold, the brilliant eccentric who is here to lovingly and logically break all the outdated rules. Your ruling planets are a fascinating paradox. Traditionally, you are ruled by Saturn, which gives you the discipline and intellectual capacity to understand complex systems. But in modern astrology, your ruler is Uranus, the planet of sudden change, liberation, and genius. You are a maverick with a master plan. Your fundamental how is to approach life from a unique, detached, and often intellectually dazzling perspective. You are here to innovate, to liberate, and to connect with the collective human family. Your first instinct in any new situation is to take a step back and observe the group dynamics from a cool, objective distance. You are analyzing the system, noting its inefficiencies, its injustices, and its unquestioned assumptions. Then, when the moment is right, you are the one who will introduce a completely unexpected idea, a perspective so original, it can change the entire conversation. Your energetic handshake is friendly, but perceptibly detached. People are often immediately intrigued by your quirky style, your brilliant and unusual ideas, and your refreshing refusal to conform to expected social scripts. You are deeply social, yet curiously impersonal. You are a friend to humanity, but may struggle with the messy intimacy of individual humans. You can come across as aloof, emotionally distant, or contrarian for the sake of being different. There is a palpable aura of cool, intellectual electricity about you. Physically, this often expresses as a unique or unconventional personal style that marches to the beat of its own drummer. You may have an alert, intelligent, and far-seeing look in your eyes, as if you are simultaneously here and also tuned into a distant future frequency. The central story of your life is a heroic journey of breaking free from social conditioning to discover and embrace your authentic and often eccentric self. Your path is about finding your true tribe, a community of like-minded souls who accept and celebrate your weirdness. The primary theme of your journey is the delicate balance between fierce individuality and a deep commitment to the collective. You are learning how to be your unique self not as an act of rebellion, but as a gift to the group. Your life's work is to find the precise intersection where your personal freedom and your unique genius can be of greatest service to the progress of humanity. The universe will consistently provide you with opportunities to challenge the status quo, to join or form unconventional groups and movements, and to use your powerful intellect to solve old problems in completely new ways. You are designed to be a catalyst for the future. This brings us to the most powerful insight for you as an Aquarius rising. Your visionary mind and your unwavering commitment to your ideals are your greatest gifts, but they can also lead to a profound sense of alienation and a dogmatic, rigid attachment to your own correct way of thinking. Your great spiritual task is to learn how to ground your brilliant futuristic ideas in the messy reality of the present day, and to cultivate genuine one-on-one empathy for the very individuals who make up the abstract humanity you care so much about. True, lasting change is born not just from brilliant logical systems, but from heart-to-heart human connection. Your journey is about building a powerful bridge between your extraordinary mind and your compassionate heart. Let's see this in a classic Aquarian scenario. You have devised a revolutionary, logical, and undeniably superior system for organizing the annual family holiday gathering, which has always been a source of stress and inefficiency. You have flowcharts. You have a spreadsheet. Your plan is objectively perfect. The shadow response for the Aquarius rising is to present this plan as an unimpeachable, logical truth. You are then completely baffled and deeply frustrated when your family members react, not with gratitude, but with emotional resistance. But it's completely illogical to keep doing it the old, inefficient way, you argue, dismissing their sentimental feelings about tradition as irrelevant, messy data that corrupts your perfect system. You feel alienated, misunderstood, and light years ahead of them. You retreat into a cool, lonely tower of intellectual superiority, and your connection with your loved ones is strained. Now the self-aware, conscious Aquarius rising has the same brilliant, innovative idea, but they approach its implementation with their heart and their humanity. You understand that humans are not cogs in a logical machine. Before you even mention your spreadsheet, you take the time to connect. You call the aunt who always hosts, and you listen with genuine empathy as she talks about how exhausted she gets every year. You talk to your cousin, and you hear the love and nostalgia in his voice as he talks about a silly, inefficient tradition that means the world to him. You gather emotional data, not just logistical data. Then when you present your idea, you frame it not as a more logical system, but as a way to make things less stressful for Aunt Carol, and you make sure to build in a place for your cousin's beloved tradition. You connect your futuristic vision to the present-day human emotions in the room. You are willing to compromise and adapt your perfect system to accommodate the beautiful, messy, and illogical reality of a family's heart. Your idea is adopted not just because it was smart, but because you built a bridge of empathy first. The challenges on your path are always the shadow of Uranus's disruptive energy. Your emotional detachment can be perceived as being cold or uncaring. Your rebellious streak can become a knee-jerk opposition to all authority, just for the sake of it. Your intellectual certainty can become a rigid dogmatism that is just as closed-minded as the traditions you fight against. And your lifelong feeling of being different can lead to a painful sense of loneliness and isolation if you do not find your tribe. So, if you are an Aquarius rising, I invite you to think about your tribe, that group, cause, or community of friends where you feel you can finally be your true, authentic, quirky self. Now think about the high-minded ideals that unite all of you. How do you contribute your unique, brilliant mind to that collective? And now for the challenge. Within that beloved group, how do you practice individual, one-on-one empathy? Who is one person in your tribe that you could reach out to this week, not to discuss big ideas or future plans, but to simply, quietly ask, "How is your heart today?" And then to just listen, without trying to fix or analyze the answer. How can you bring your great and noble love for humanity down to the beautiful, messy human scale? The path of the Aquarius rising is a brilliant, electrifying, and often revolutionary journey. A life spent learning to honor one's own unique genius while contributing to the evolution and liberation of the human family. It teaches us the incredible power of a truly open and progressive mind. But after all the systems have been reformed, after all the ideals have been passionately debated, after the human mind has reached its absolute limit in its noble attempt to understand and perfect the universe, the soul takes one final courageous step. It lets go. It dissolves. It surrenders. It merges with the great, compassionate, cosmic mystery itself. We now move from the sharp intellectual clarity of the innovator's mind to the gentle, boundless, and sacred mist of the mystic's dream, as we surrender to the all-encompassing spiritual waters of Pisces rising. The brilliant, futuristic, and electric lightning bolt of the Aquarian mind fades. The intricate intellectual frameworks and social ideals dissolve, and the very boundaries between you and me, this and that, and the universe begin to soften, shimmer, and blur into a compassionate cosmic mist. If you are a Pisces rising, your soul's entrance into this world was through the final energetic gate of the Zodiac, the portal of boundless compassion, divine imagination, and a direct, unfiltered connection to the unseen spiritual realms. You are the gentle mystic, the inspired dreamer, the soulful poet, the quiet healer who has always felt not quite of this world, because you remember the world from which we all came. Your rulers are Jupiter, the ancient ruler of faith and meaning, and Neptune, the modern ruler of dreams, spirit, art, and the dissolution of the ego. Your life is a sacred and often confusing quest to navigate the material world while keeping one foot firmly planted in the magical one. Your fundamental how is to approach life with a gentle, receptive, and exquisitely sensitive spirit. You are here to believe, to dream, to forgive, and to transcend. And your first instinct in any new situation is not to act or analyze or even to feel in a personal way, but to merge. You absorb the environment, you feel the collective emotional and spiritual currents, and you instinctively respond with empathy and a desire to heal any suffering you perceive. You navigate by a subtle, non-linear intuition and a deep, abiding faith, not by hard logic or forceful will. Your energetic handshake is famously gentle, kind, compassionate, and often a bit dreamy or otherworldly. People frequently feel a sense of profound peace and unconditional acceptance in your presence, sensing that you see their soul and will not judge their human flaws. You have a remarkable chameleon-like quality, able to unconsciously adapt your own energy to match whomever you are with, in an effort to create comfort. The shadow of this beautiful trait is that you can seem vague, elusive, unreliable, or easily led, as your personal boundaries are naturally and by design incredibly porous. Physically, this energy is often most noticeable in the eyes, which are frequently large, soulful, deep, and have a watery or dreamy quality. Your movements may be graceful and fluid, as if you are drifting through life, and your facial expression is often soft and filled with a gentle, compassionate wisdom. The central story of your life is a journey of faith, a spiritual pilgrimage to find the sacred in the most mundane of places, and to ultimately dissolve the painful illusion of separation from the divine and from each other. The primary theme of your path is the development of spiritual discernment and the Herculean task of building healthy boundaries. Your great life lesson is to learn how to be a compassionate presence in the world without becoming a martyr who is consumed by the world's suffering. Your journey is about learning to be a clear and protected channel for divine love and inspiration, without becoming a doormat or a victim to those who would drain your precious energy. The universe will consistently present you with opportunities to be of service, to heal, to create transcendent art, and to deepen your connection to spirit. It will also, with equal consistency, test your ability to stay grounded in reality, to say a gentle no, and to protect your highly sensitive energetic field. This leads us to the most critical life-altering insight for you as a Pisces rising. Your boundless compassion and your direct line to the divine are your greatest gifts, but they will leave you feeling chronically ungrounded, perpetually overwhelmed, and easily taken advantage of if you do not commit to a strong, consistent, daily grounding practice. For you, this is not a suggestion. It is a spiritual necessity. Whether it is spending time in nature, engaging in mindful physical exercise like yoga or Tai Chi, or focusing on practical, mundane, earthy routines like cooking or cleaning, you must consciously anchor your beautiful, floaty energy to the earth every single day. This practice does not sever your connection to spirit. It does the opposite. It builds a strong enough vessel, a sturdy enough container, to safely hold the immense cosmic energy you are channeling. It allows you to be a steady, shining beacon of light for others, rather than a disorganized puddle of emotional overwhelm. Let's see this in a classic Piscean challenge. dealing with a friend who is in a chronic state of crisis and is constantly draining your energy. They call you at all hours, unload an endless stream of their problems, and rely on your compassionate, non-judgmental ear as their primary support. You feel utterly exhausted, depleted. Your own life is falling by the wayside, yet you are racked with a profound sense of guilt at the very thought of not being available for them. The shadow response for the Pisces rising is to fall into a pattern of martyrdom. You sacrifice your own health and happiness on the altar of your friend's needs, becoming increasingly resentful and emotionally waterlogged. When the overwhelm becomes unbearable, you might turn to your own forms of escapism, binge-watching shows, oversleeping, zoning out, anything to numb the feeling of being drained. Or you might simply ghost them, disappearing from their life without a word, because the direct earthly confrontation of setting a boundary feels impossibly harsh and terrifying. Now the self-aware, conscious Pisces rising recognizes the symptoms of drowning. You know that to be of true sustainable service, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Before you do anything else, you ground yourself. You go for a walk and feel the solid earth beneath your feet. You do a 5-minute breathing exercise to come back into your body. You reconnect with your own energy first. Then, from this place of quiet, grounded strength, you approach your friend with compassionate boundaries. You might say with all the kindness in your heart, "I love you so much and I can feel how much pain you are in. I want to be here for you, but I've realized for my own well-being." So what does this life map that we keep talking about actually look like? We have now walked through the archetypal energies of all 12 rising signs, this beautiful circle of hows that describes the unique vehicle your soul is driving in this lifetime. But now we need to understand the profound structural importance of this placement. Your rising sign, your ascendant, is not just some free-floating personality trait. It is the precise starting point, the literal "you are here" sticker on the grand, intricate, and deeply personal map of your life's journey. A map which is laid out in the 12 houses of your birth chart. Imagine the sky at the exact moment of your birth as a perfect 360-degree circle all around you. Ancient astrologers divided this circle into 12 specific slices, like a cosmic pie. Each of these 12 slices is called a house, and each house governs a distinct and specific area of your life experience. There's a house for your money and values, a house for your family and home, a house for your career, a house for your relationships, and so on. The single most important rule to understand is this: your ascendant, the zodiac sign that was rising on the eastern horizon, is always the beginning, or the cusp, of your first house, the house of self, identity, and beginnings. This is the master key. This one point sets the starting line for your entire life's race and determines the order of the hurdles you will encounter. To make this really clear, we can look at it through the lens of the whole sign house system, which is an elegant and ancient way of seeing the chart. It states that whatever sign your ascendant is in, that entire sign becomes your first house of self. The very next sign in the zodiacal order then becomes your entire second house of money and values. The sign after that becomes your entire third house of communication and learning, and so on, all the way around the wheel. This is why your rising sign is the secret key to the whole chart. It doesn't just define your personality, it sets the zodiacal theme and the specific energetic flavor for every single department of your life. The most powerful, actionable insight here is that your birth chart tells a developmental story that begins with your rising sign and unfolds sequentially through the 12 houses. To understand why you have a certain recurring pattern with your finances, your second house, or a specific style of communication, your third house, you must first go back to the beginning and understand the fundamental task of your rising sign, your first house. Your life is a curriculum. You are here to first learn the lessons of your ascendant, to fully and consciously embody its highest expression. Only when you begin to master your how can you effectively move on to build and secure the next area of your life. If you struggle to embody the courage of your Aries rising, first house, you will likely struggle to build the stable, reliable resources of your Taurus second house. If you can't learn to create emotional safety for yourself as a Cancer rising, first house, you will struggle to creatively and confidently express yourself through your Leo second house. You have to pass the first course before you can truly succeed in the second. Let's see how this creates two completely different life maps for two different people. Let's take someone with a Leo rising. Their life curriculum begins with the first house theme of Leo. My journey is about learning to shine my unique, creative light with warmth and confidence. Because the next sign is Virgo, their second house of money and self-worth is flavored by Virgo. They will build their resources through practical service, hard work, and meticulous attention to detail. To feel valuable, second house, they must first feel creatively expressed, first house. The next sign is Libra, so their third house of communication is Libran. They will speak and think with diplomacy, charm, and a focus on balance and fairness. And way up at the top of their chart, their 10th house of career will be in Taurus. Their public life and legacy will be built slowly, patiently, and with a focus on creating things of tangible, lasting, and beautiful value. Now let's take someone with a Capricorn rising. Their curriculum starts with the first house theme of Capricorn. My journey is about learning discipline, responsibility, and how to build enduring structures with integrity. Because the next sign is Aquarius, their second house of money and values is Aquarian. They might earn money through technology, unconventional means, or through their connection to a group or community. They value freedom and innovation when it comes to their resources. The next sign is Pisces, so their third house of communication is Piscean. They will speak and think with imagination, intuition, and compassion, perhaps in a way that is less linear and more poetic. And at the top of their chart, their 10th house of career will be in Libra. Their public life and legacy will be built through partnership, diplomacy, justice, or the arts. Do you see? The starting point changes everything. Both the Leo rising and the Capricorn rising might have a Venus-ruled career house, but for one, it is earthy, stable Taurus, and for the other, it is airy, relational Libra, two completely different paths to public success, all determined by that first initial degree of the Ascendant. It's a chain reaction that begins at the moment of your first breath. Each house is a chapter in your book, and your rising sign writes the first sentence of every single one. So let's do a quick, tangible experiment. You don't need your full chart for this, you just need to know the order of the zodiac signs. First, identify your rising sign. Now simply find the next sign in the zodiacal order. That sign will be the ruler of your second house, the area of your life that governs your personal finances, your material possessions, your values, and your sense of self-worth. For example, if you are a Virgo rising, your second house is in Libra. If you are a Pisces rising, your second house is in Aries. Now reflect on this question. How does the fundamental energy of that second sign accurately and often surprisingly describe the way you instinctively handle your money, the things you choose to own, and what you need in order to feel secure and valuable in this life? Your rising sign sets this foundational permanent map of your life's curriculum. It is the sacred blueprint you were given at birth. But this map is not a static document framed and hanging on a wall. It is a dynamic living landscape. And every so often, a major planetary visitor, a planet moving through the sky right now, comes along and acts like a cosmic earthquake or a total solar eclipse, fundamentally and permanently altering that landscape. This most often happens when these powerful planets make direct contact with the most sensitive, most personal point on your entire map, your Ascendant. This is the potent and life-changing magic of transits. Let's talk about those cosmic earthquakes. Those moments when the universe reaches down and personally knocks on the front door of your soul. In the language of astrology, a transit is simply the ongoing movement of the planets in the sky as they are right now, at this very moment. When one of these moving planets forms a significant connection, especially a direct conjunction, with a sensitive point in your birth chart, it activates that part of your personal blueprint. And there is no point more personal, more fundamental to your being, and more sensitive to activation than your Ascendant. It is the horizon of your identity, the helm of your ship. When a major, slow-moving outer planet like Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto crosses over the exact degree of your Ascendant, it is a life-defining event. This isn't a subtle shift in your mood for a few days. This is a profound, year-long, sometimes multi-year process of completely reinventing your sense of self. The planet that is making the transit brings its specific archetypal energy and curriculum directly to your first house of identity. It is a period where the universe is essentially forcing you to ask, on the deepest level, who am I really? Your old mask, your old persona, the way you've always presented yourself to the world, suddenly feels ill-fitting, inauthentic, or simply obsolete. The universe is inviting, or sometimes demanding, that you upgrade your personal operating system. Each of the great outer planets brings a different flavor of transformation. When transiting Pluto crosses your ascendant, a once-in-a-lifetime event, it heralds a total death and rebirth of your identity. You are plunged into the fires of alchemy, forced to confront your deepest shadows, your relationship with power and your own hidden truths. You will shed old skins, and the person who emerges on the other side of this transit will be more authentic, more powerful, and completely unrecognizable from the person who entered. When transiting Neptune drifts over your ascendant, your sense of self can feel like it's dissolving into a beautiful but confusing fog. The old solid boundaries of your ego become porous. You may feel lost, uncertain, and incredibly sensitive, but also more compassionate, artistically inspired, and spiritually connected than ever before. Your mask becomes transparent, allowing the light of your soul to shine through. When transiting Uranus zaps your ascendant with its electric energy, you feel an overwhelming and sudden urge for radical liberation. You are breaking free from every old role, expectation, and self-imposed limitation. This often manifests as a sudden, dramatic change in your appearance, your career, your lifestyle, or your name. It is a powerful, exciting, and often chaotic period of embracing your inner eccentric and claiming your freedom. And when transiting Saturn grinds across your ascendant, life gets very real very quickly. This is a profound period of maturation, a cosmic growing up. You are called to become more responsible, more disciplined, and more serious about who you are and what you are here to build. You shed flimsy youthful personas and are asked to step into a new level of personal authority and integrity. The single most empowering insight you can hold during these intense periods is that these transits are not happening to you. They are happening for you. They are precisely scheduled cosmic invitations for your evolution. The key to navigating these powerful, life-altering chapters is to learn how to consciously partner with the energy of the transiting planet, rather than bracing against it in fear and resistance. If Saturn is at your front door, demanding that you get your life in order, resisting that call will feel like repeatedly running into a cold, hard brick wall. It will feel like a period of frustrating limitation, depression, and failure. But if you can open the door and respectfully ask, "Okay, Saturn, what lesson in maturity, discipline, and integrity are you here to teach me?" The entire process transforms from a period of suffering into one of profound empowerment. Let's use a very common and relatable example. The transit of Saturn conjunct the Ascendant, which often happens for the first time during a person's Saturn return period, around ages 28 to 30. Imagine a person with a fun-loving, freedom-seeking Sagittarius rising. For their first 3 decades, they have lived their Ascendant beautifully, exploring the world, hopping from job to job, savoring their freedom, and gathering wisdom through experience. But as transiting Saturn moves closer to the exact degree of their Sagittarius Ascendant, they begin to feel an unfamiliar, heavy, and sobering pressure. Their old, carefree philosophy suddenly feels thin and inadequate. Life may present them with a serious reality check, a career setback, a health issue, a relationship that demands real commitment, that forces them to get serious. It can feel like the great, expansive party of their youth is finally over. The resistance response is to fight it tooth and nail. They might try to party even harder, to impulsively run away to a new country, to deny the new responsibilities that life is placing on their shoulders. This futile resistance makes the transit feel exactly like its lowest manifestation, a period of harsh restriction, painful endings, depression, and feeling like a failure. But the conscious, self-aware individual recognizes the knock at the door. They see Saturn's arrival not as a cosmic punishment, but as the arrival of a stern but wise mentor. They consciously partner with the energy. They ask themselves the Saturnian questions. What structure do I need to build in my life? How can I take all this Sagittarian wisdom I've accumulated and give it a solid form? Instead of running from commitment, they commit. They might go back to school to get the formal degree that will give structure to their passions. They might commit to a serious relationship, learning the lessons of partnership. They might start a business, taking their big ideas and building a tangible enterprise. It feels incredibly hard and restrictive at first, but by the time the transit passes, they have integrated Saturn's profound wisdom. They are no longer just a carefree explorer. They are a wise teacher. They have built a solid foundation for the entire next chapter of their life. Their identity is deeper, stronger, and infinitely more authentic. So, I invite you to reflect on your own life story for a moment. Think back to a major turning point, a period of about a year or two when your fundamental sense of who you are underwent a significant shift. It might have been a time of intense crisis and transformation, a sudden and shocking liberation, a period of deep spiritual confusion, or a chapter of serious maturation. How did the core theme of that chapter in your life, be it power, freedom, surrender, or responsibility, perfectly mirror the archetypal energy of the planet that was likely knocking on the door of your identity at that time? Recognizing this beautiful, intelligent pattern, how can you look at any current challenges to your identity, not as random problems to be solved, but as sacred cosmic invitations to evolve? These powerful transits are direct messages from the cosmos, knocking on your front door to personally initiate you into your next phase of growth. They remind us that our identity is not a fixed thing, but a living, breathing, evolving reality. But every front door implies a back door, and every starting point on a map suggests a destination. Directly opposite your ascendant, 180 degrees across the zodiac on the western horizon of your chart, lies another profoundly important and sensitive point. It is the doorway not to the self, but to the other. This is your descendant, and it holds the secret key to the kind of love, partnership, and connection your soul is truly seeking. Let's walk through that other equally important doorway. While your ascendant, rising on the eastern horizon at your birth, describes the energy you naturally embody and the personality you project out into the world, your descendant, the point setting on the western horizon, describes the energy that is, in a sense, farthest from your conscious self. It is your personal sunset, and because it represents the other half of your personal horizon line, it contains a powerful and sacred secret. It describes the qualities you are unconsciously drawn to, the energy you seek out in your significant one-on-one relationships, and the traits that you need to integrate in order to feel truly whole. It is, in the most profound sense, the mirror of your soul. Your descendant is always the beginning or the cusp of your seventh house, the domain of marriage, committed partnerships, business partners, and even your open enemies. In other words, your significant others. The zodiac sign on your descendant is always the sign that is in direct opposition to your ascendant, creating a powerful axis of self and other that defines your relational dynamics. If you are an Aries rising, your descendant is in Libra. If you are a Taurus rising, your descendant is in Scorpio. A Gemini rising will always have a Sagittarius descendant, a Cancer rising, a Capricorn descendant, a Leo rising, an Aquarius descendant, and a Virgo rising, a Pisces descendant. And, of course, the reverse is true for each of these. This axis is the fundamental polarity of your chart. If your ascendant is the declaration, I am, your descendant is the magnetic pull of you are. It represents the qualities you don't naturally own, and therefore you seek them, you project them, and you are endlessly fascinated by them in other people. This brings us to a crucial, life-altering insight about your relationships. The qualities of your descendant sign are not just a shopping list for your ideal partner. They are a curriculum for your own soul's development. Your most significant relationships are, in essence, a sacred school. Your partners, for better or for worse, serve as your most powerful teachers, mirroring back to you the very energies and qualities that you need to consciously develop within yourself in order to become a more balanced and integrated human being. The ultimate spiritual goal of partnership is not to find your other half who completes you, but to become whole within yourself by learning to embody the highest expressions of both your ascendant and your descendant energies. Let's make this tangible with a classic polarity: the Virgo rising with a Pisces descendant. If you are a Virgo rising, your natural approach to life is orderly, practical, analytical, and perhaps a little bit anxious. You thrive on schedules, to-do lists, and a sense of competent control over your environment. You are grounded in the details of reality. Now, who do you find yourself consistently and often maddeningly attracted to? People who embody the energy of your Pisces descendant. You are drawn to the dreamy artist, the spiritual seeker with no concept of time, the compassionate but chaotic musician who always forgets their keys, the gentle soul who lives in a world of feeling and imagination. On the surface, it seems like a recipe for disaster. In the early stages, this dynamic can be a source of immense friction. You, the Virgo rising, might spend all your energy trying to fix, organize, and ground your beautifully chaotic Piscean-style partner. Your partner, in turn, feels constantly criticized, judged, and constrained by your need for order. You project your own disowned qualities onto them. You see them as flaky, unrealistic, and a mess, while they see you as uptight, critical, and lacking in magic. The profound breakthrough happens when you understand the sacred lesson of the descendant. Your partner is not a project to be fixed. They are a teacher to be learned from. They are mirroring the very qualities your soul is yearning to develop in itself: faith, surrender, artistry, spiritual trust, and the ability to go with the flow. Your life's work is to learn how to let go of your own rigid control and consciously cultivate a little bit of that Piscean magic within yourself. In turn, your gentle, dreamy partner is in your life to learn from your gifts of practicality and discernment. The ideal relationship is not one where you change them or they change you, but one where you both create a space for each other to become more whole. You learn to be more soulful, and they learn to bring their beautiful dreams down to earth. This mirror effect is a universal principle. We often attract the less developed or shadow expression of our descendant sign first, as these relationships provide the loudest lessons. The fiercely independent Aries rising, who needs to learn the art of compromise, will often first attract a deeply codependent, people-pleasing Libra type. The coolly detached Aquarius rising, who needs to learn warmth and heartfelt passion, might first attract a dramatic, ego-driven Leo type who demands the spotlight. These challenging relationships are not failures. They are soul assignments. They are showing us in high and often painful definition the underdeveloped and disowned part of our own psyche. The beautiful secret is that the more we consciously work to integrate the positive qualities of our descendant sign within ourselves, the more we naturally begin to attract partners who embody those same higher expressions. So let's bring this into your personal experience. First, identify your descendant sign. It is simply the zodiac sign that is directly opposite your rising sign. Now, I want you to reflect on the recurring patterns in your most significant partnerships. What is the common theme, the archetypal quality, that runs through the people you have been most intensely drawn to in your life? Both the ones who brought you joy and the ones who brought you pain? How do these individuals in their own unique ways perfectly embody the core energy of your descendant sign? And now for the most important question. What is the one positive quality represented by your descendant that your soul is currently gently but persistently asking you to cultivate within yourself so that you no longer need to search for it so desperately or fight with it so intensely on the outside? Understanding this powerful ascendant-descendant axis is like being handed the master key to your entire relational life. It illuminates the intricate dance between self and other, between what you are and what you seek, between who you are now and who you are always, and forever in the process of becoming. It is a sacred map leading you toward your own wholeness. Now that we have all of this profound self-knowledge about your core energy, your life's curriculum, and your relational mirror, the final and most important question inevitably arises. How do we consciously live this? How do we take this celestial information off the page and embody it in our daily lives, turning beautiful theory into a living, breathing, transformative practice? That is our next and perhaps most crucial step. This is where the true and lasting magic begins. Astrological knowledge is the map, but conscious embodiment is the journey itself. It's one thing to know intellectually that you are a Leo rising with a path of creative expression. It's another thing entirely to consciously practice heart-centered generosity when you're feeling insecure or overlooked. So, let's get deeply practical. Let's talk about the specific daily actions that can transform your ascendant from an abstract concept you've learned about into a living, breathing spiritual practice that can change your life. The core principle is this: conscious embodiment of your ascendant means identifying its highest, most positive core principle, and then finding small, consistent, daily ways to express that vibration. This isn't about making a single, huge, dramatic life change. It's about making a series of micro-choices every single day that align with your soul's chosen how. It's about pausing in a moment of decision and asking yourself, what would the most courageous Aries, the most grounded Taurus, the most compassionate Pisces part of me do right now? And then, as best you can, choosing to do that. This simple, repeated practice is what transforms your ascendant from a reactive, unconscious mask into a conscious and powerful tool for your spiritual growth and self-actualization. Let's break this down by element, with simple, actionable practices you can start today. If you are one of the fire risings, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, your core practice is initiation. Your soul thrives on action and inspiration. For Aries rising, your practice is courageous starts. Once a week, consciously do one small thing that scares you a little. It could be speaking up first in a meeting, starting a conversation with a stranger, or trying a new workout. Your job is to break inertia. For Leo rising, your practice is generous shining. Make it a daily mission to give at least one genuine, heartfelt compliment, or to publicly celebrate someone else's success. Channel your creativity into a hobby just for the pure joy of it, releasing the need for an audience. For Sagittarius rising, your practice is everyday exploration. Once a week, deliberately break your routine. Take a different route home from work, listen to a type of music you normally wouldn't, or spend 15 minutes reading about a topic you know nothing about. Feed your mind's hunger for the new. If you are one of the Earth risings, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, your core practice is presence. Your soul finds its strength in the tangible, material world. For Taurus rising, your practice is sensory grounding. Once a day, for just 5 minutes, mindfully and completely engage one of your 5 senses. Slowly savor a piece of dark chocolate. Listen to one beautiful song without any other distractions, or simply feel the texture of the warm mug in your hands. For Virgo rising, your practice is helpful acts. Your analytical mind needs a useful job. Once a day, find one small, practical thing you can do to bring order or ease to your environment or to someone else's life. Organize one drawer, water your plants with intention, or proofread an email for a colleague. For Capricorn rising, your practice is honoring integrity. At the end of each day, take 60 seconds to write down one promise you kept to yourself or to someone else, no matter how small. Acknowledge your own effort and your own resilience. This builds self-respect, your greatest resource. If you are one of the air risings, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, your core practice is connection. Your soul is nourished by the exchange of ideas and perspectives. For Gemini rising, your practice is conscious curiosity. Make it your mission to learn one new interesting thing every single day, and then find a way to share it. Turn your mind from an instrument of anxiety into an instrument of discovery. For Libra rising, your practice is active balancing. In one low-stakes conversation each day, practice gracefully stating your own preference or opinion, rather than immediately deferring. It could be as simple as saying what movie you'd rather see or what restaurant you're in the mood for. For Aquarius rising, your practice is community contribution. Once a week, take one small action that benefits your tribe or a cause you believe in. Share an important article, show up to support a friend's project, or connect 2 people who you think could help each other. And if you are one of the water risings, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, your core practice is intuition. Your soul navigates through the subtle world of feeling and energy. For Cancer rising, your practice is deliberate self-nurturing. You must schedule at least 15 minutes of quiet, alone recharge time every single day, as if it were the most important meeting in your calendar. This is non-negotiable. For Scorpio rising, your practice is truthful exchange. In a safe and trusted relationship, practice revealing one small, authentic feeling or vulnerability. Let someone see 1 inch behind your protective veil. This builds the muscle of trust. For Pisces rising, your practice is sacred grounding. Start or end your day by standing for just 1 minute and feeling your feet firmly planted on the floor. Imagine roots growing down into the earth. This simple act is the anchor that allows your spiritual gifts to flourish safely. Let's take the Libra rising example to see how these tiny practices create massive shifts. Your main challenge is a lifetime of people-pleasing and conflict avoidance. Your new micro-practice is to simply state your preference in low-stakes situations. The next time a friend asks, "Where should we get lunch?" you feel that familiar, powerful urge to say, "Oh, I don't mind, whatever you want." But this time, you pause. You take a breath. You check in with your own body and ask, "What do I actually want?" And then you say, "I was actually really craving some good soup today. How would you feel about that little cafe on the corner?" It is a tiny, revolutionary act. Your friend might agree, or they might suggest something else. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have successfully placed your own needs onto the scales to be weighed. You have initiated a negotiation instead of an immediate surrender. By practicing this small act of self-advocacy daily, you are building the spiritual and psychological muscle you will need to do the same in the major, life-defining decisions about your career, your family, and your heart. The micro-practice builds the macro skill. So, I invite you now to reflect. Look at the simple practices suggested for your rising signs element. Which one of those feels both the most deeply resonant and perhaps just a tiny bit uncomfortable? That little flicker of discomfort is pointing directly to your growth edge. I want you to make a gentle commitment to yourself, just for the next 7 days, to incorporate that one small practice into your daily life. It might take less than 5 minutes a day. What do you imagine might begin to shift in your energy, your confidence, and your deep sense of purpose if you were to consistently and lovingly embody this small, tangible piece of your soul's highest expression? This daily practice of conscious embodiment is the secret ingredient. It is the practical alchemy that transforms abstract astrological knowledge into tangible, lived wisdom. It is how you move from being a reactive passenger in the vehicle of your ascendant to being the conscious, skillful, and empowered driver. And when you consciously pilot your ascendant with intention, you unlock the highest potential of your entire chart, weaving together all the disparate and sometimes conflicting parts of yourself into a beautiful, coherent, and authentically integrated whole. This is the ultimate promise of this sacred work. It is the key to your own wholeness. So what does it truly mean to achieve that state of authentic wholeness? We've journeyed so far and so deep together. We've explored the sacred cosmic trinity of your sun, moon, and rising sign. We've met the captain of your ship, your chart ruler. We've felt the unique energies of the 4 elements and all 12 signs. We've looked at the intricate map of the houses, the life-altering power of transits, the revealing mirror of your descendant, and finally, the simple, daily practices of conscious embodiment. Now here at the end of our journey, we arrive at the very heart of the matter. We arrive at the synthesis, the grand unification of your own personal cosmos, and the ultimate reason why your rising sign is the most important key you hold. When you are living unconsciously, unaware of the distinct energies within you, your inner world can feel like a state of civil war. Your sun's core purpose, your what, feels constantly thwarted or misunderstood. Your moon's deep needs, your why, feel unmet, leading to a persistent hum of anxiety, insecurity, or dissatisfaction. And your rising sign's instinctual approach to the world, your how, operates on a reactive autopilot, often creating the very situations that frustrate your sun and starve your moon. Imagine a chariot being pulled by 2 magnificent, powerful horses. One is your radiant sun, wanting to charge toward the horizon of purpose, and the other is your sensitive moon, wanting to veer off toward the quiet, safe pastures. Your rising sign is the charioteer. An unconscious charioteer is simply clinging to the reins for dear life, being pulled in 2 different directions at once, feeling torn, exhausted, and completely out of control. The journey is chaotic and painful. The practice of consciously embodying your rising sign is the act of becoming a skillful charioteer. You are finally, deliberately, taking the reins in your hands. You learn to use the specific strategies and unique gifts of your ascendant, your how, to consciously steer the chariot. You use the diplomatic grace of your Libra rising to build the partnerships that provide the security your Taurus moon needs. You use the courageous initiative of your Aries rising to start the project that allows your Cancer moon to feel purposeful and engaged. You use the patient, methodical approach of your Virgo rising to create the order and calm that soothes your Sagittarius moon's restless spirit. When you consciously pilot your ascendant, you create an outer world and a way of being that finally, deeply nourishes the needs of your inner moon. And when your moon's needs are met, a miracle happens. It stops sending out constant distress signals of fear, anxiety, and neediness. It ceases to be a source of inner turmoil, and instead becomes what it was always meant to be: a deep, quiet, powerful well of emotional strength, intuition, and resilience. This profound inner security is the solid ground upon which your sun can finally, safely, stand and shine its light with its full, unadulterated brilliance. The war is over. The team is in harmony. The charioteer is skillfully guiding the powerful horses, and the journey becomes not a struggle, but a magnificent, purposeful, and joyful expression of your soul's intent. This leads us to the ultimate principle of this work. Authentic wholeness is not about striving to eliminate your flaws, fix your perceived weaknesses, or become some idealized, perfect version of yourself. It is about the practice of radical and compassionate self-acceptance. This profound acceptance comes from understanding that every single piece of your unique astrological design, especially the seemingly contradictory parts like your impulsive ascendant and your cautious moon, or your introverted self and your extroverted mask, is a necessary, divine, and intelligent component of your wholeness. The conscious integration of your rising sign is the ultimate act of saying a full-bodied yes to the very lens, the very vehicle, that your soul chose for this lifetime's journey. This acceptance is the fertile ground from which a truly authentic and meaningful life can finally, beautifully, grow. You can finally forgive yourself. The Taurus rising can stop berating themselves for not being more spontaneous. The Gemini rising can release the self-judgment for not having one single linear passion. The Scorpio rising can understand that their intensity is not a flaw, but a gift of perception. You realize that you were given a very specific type of vehicle for a very specific type of journey. Your job isn't to stand by the side of the road wishing you had a different car. Your job is to become the most skilled, present, and loving driver of the magnificent one you were given. This understanding doesn't just bring purpose, it brings a profound and lasting peace. As we close this journey together, I want you to gently hold the three core energies of your being in your mind's eye. Your sun is brilliant purpose, your moon's deep and sacred needs, and your rising sign's skillful approach to the world. See them not as separate, warring factions, but as a wholly, interconnected, and collaborative team. Now I invite you to ask yourself this one final unifying question. How is the conscious daily practice of my rising sign's highest expression, the single most direct and powerful path to creating a life where my moon feels safe enough to be vulnerable, and my sun feels free enough to be magnificent? What does that fully integrated, harmonious, and whole version of me look, feel, and act like in the world? This is the ultimate gift of your rising sign. It is the secret key that doesn't just unlock one door. It is the key that, when you learn to use it with conscious, loving intention, illuminates the entire house of your soul and shows you how to live within it in a way that is peaceful, powerful, and profoundly, authentically, and beautifully you. We've journeyed from the core of your identity to the farthest reaches of your soul's potential today, all through the powerful lens of your rising sign. The single greatest lesson to take with you is that your ascendant is not a mask to hide behind, but a path to walk forward on. It is your how, the sacred strategy that harmonizes your sun's purpose with your moon's needs. By consciously embodying its highest gifts, you become the skillful author of your own life story. For the rest of this week, I invite you to hold one simple thought in your awareness. I am practicing my Ascendant. Notice the small choices you make, the way you enter a room, your first instinct in a conversation. See it all through this new and empowering lens of conscious embodiment. You were given this unique energetic signature for a reason. It is not an accident or a flaw. It is the perfect vehicle for your soul's journey in this lifetime. Trust the profound wisdom of your own design. You have everything you need to navigate your path with grace, courage, and authenticity. That's all for today. Keep trusting your intuition, and I'll see you in the next one.